Hail, Layersins. Welcome back to the Wyvern's Lair. I am Dungeon Master Wyvern, and today we have a very special community adventure with the Wyvern's Lair here on the New Legacy Shard for Ultima Online with the good developers over at Broadsword Online Games. We're being joined this evening by our lead producer for Ultima Online, Kyronix, and also our content designer, Parallax, who's done such fine work on the first season of the New Legacy Shard. Before we go ahead and join the rest of the Wyvern's Lair and friends this evening, I do have a couple of little notes here. Because I am a forgetful DM dinosaur, I had to get out a piece of paper like the good old newscaster that I am. I do want to start this stream right at the top by extending a heartfelt thank you to my good friend Pawnstar Gaming for that very neighborly raid of my Twitch channel yesterday. For those of you who may not know Pawnstar, he's arguably the largest, most important content creator for Ultima Online right at the moment. He is not only the largest content creator, but he's also the kindest too. And I think we're all very fortunate as a content creator community that Pawnstar kind of leads the way for us. Now, Pawnstar, he plays on one of the Grey Shards, but as he frequently says, and he lives this creed too, any Ultima Online is good Ultima Online, so I appreciate the support and the kindness. Pawnstar, thank you so much for the raid. I also want to extend a shout out to one of our knights of the lair, Rel, who was hoping to join us this evening, but fortunately is actually on a great spring vacation with his family out there in Greece. Rel, we love you, we respect you, and we can't wait to get back into the new Legacy season with you when we arrive and can jump into Publish 2 with the rest of us. I also want to thank Zeke, our emissary Zeke, for doing a lot of important work for the Wyvern's Lair this past week. He was of enormous help to myself and Poison Ivy, emissary Poison Ivy, to keep the guild running. I appreciate what you do for us, Zeke. And, lastly and probably most importantly, I want to once again extend my own heartfelt thanks to the developers from Broadsword Online Games for making themselves available after hours to join us for a Let's Play on Publish 2. This is going to be very exciting. I can't think of anything like this having been done in recent memory together with the Ultima Online player community, so I'm very grateful to both Kyronix and Parallax for making time after a very busy week to get out Publish 2 for the worldwide Ultima Online community. And of course, let's not forget the New Legacy Shard for our Japanese audience as well, our Japanese players. It was a really big week for Ultima Online in many ways, and I'm sure a challenging and tiring week, as most work weeks are, so huge credit to them for making the time for this. All right, now with those introductions out of the way, let me go ahead and get set up for the next little bit here, probably the most exciting, where we actually get to jump in game. Which reminds me, I probably should get the client out. So for those of you who may not know, I prefer to play Ultima Online on the approved classic UO web client. So let me get that client going for us, and then we will be off to the races on the New Legacy Shard. I also want to, while I'm doing this, I want to thank our community manager for Ultima Online, Artemis Fenico, for very generously sharing news about this very special stream with the developers across Ultima Online's official social media accounts. Thank you so much, Fenico. I appreciate the support and the collaboration, so cheers to you, and want to wish you a very restful weekend, my friend. All right, so let's go ahead and launch this as an app. This is what happens when you're a busy bumblebee, Layersins. Okay, I got that set up, and now we are ready to go. Let's meet the Knights of the Wyvern's Lair, our friends, and the developers for Ultima Online. Hello, hello, friends and knights and squires of the lair. What an evening it is. Oh my goodness, I've never seen the TWL keep as busy as it is at this very moment. I want to thank everyone who's made the time to join us this evening. I'm very excited for what's ahead. It's going to be a very special guild adventure with the Wyvern's Lair and friends. And I do want to start things off with just one quick reminder for everyone who's joining us this evening. A couple of things. Because this is such a special stream session with some very, honored guests, I have a couple of simple requests moving forward. So just a reminder, this is not a podcast episode. We're here to really play Publish 2 together with Chironix and Parallax here. So absolutely ask Chironix and Parallax questions. This is the reason why they're here to game with us this evening. But please do not bombard them. Let's try and make this as much of a let's play as we can as a player community. So that's request number one. Request number two is we're here to create awareness and market Publish 2 for New Legacy and for Ultima Online. So if you want to ask the devs a question, please limit your questions to Publish 2 or elements of New Legacy. Now, that having been said, I've communicated this to Chironix and Parallax. If they want to take us out into strange and deep waters, they're welcome to do so. So they have free range to ask us whether I like pineapple and pizza, or, if Slurms McKenzie, I don't know, enjoys whiskey with ice. So let's leave it up to them to come up with questions outside of New Legacy and Publish 2 for us. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, as everyone can see here, we're a very large group on the Discord voice chat this evening. So please be mindful of everyone else and keep anything you have to share or say as brief as possible so everyone can participate. Those are my three simple requests for us this evening. And before what I'd like to do to start us off is just a quick round of introductions for everyone who's made the time to make it this evening here on the TWL Keep Discord voice channel. But as is tradition here at the Wyvern's Lair, whenever we have new squires join us, I always prefer for them to have a moment to stand in the spotlight and introduce themselves to ourselves and the New Legacy and Ultima Online player communities. I frequently say, your story matters here, whether you're part of the Wyvern's Lair, whether you're a friend, or whether you're simply a community member here on the New Legacy Shard, discovering this season and playing through it with the rest of us. So that having been said, we're joined by, I believe, two new squires this evening, at least that I can see here. Let's begin with Slurms McKenzie, our longtime friend who's agreed to join us in some capacity with one of his characters here. Slurms, you need a few introductions. We know you obviously, but if you could quickly introduce yourself, how you found Ultima Online, and what you're excited about as far as your New Legacy adventures. The floor is yours, my friend.
Found New Legacy after waiting to see it for the last 4 years, and was excited about it. But how I found UO, my friends in high school in 2000 were playing it. We're like, hey, you got to play this. You like Diablo. You like this. You like games. Come join us. And a little bit of a leg pulling here or there, and I go directions, similar to how William now sees that a little bit of leg pulling here or there. I go directions. So with Pub 2, I'm just excited to get in here and see it. I always like seeing assets used. I always like seeing when stuff is brought in. So I'm excited just to give it a go.
Thank you, Slurm McKenzie. It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure gaming with you here in the New Legacy, and I'm excited you want to spend part of your time with us here at the Wyvern's Lair. So welcome to the Guild as a Squire. All right. Next, we also have another squire here to introduce themselves to us. Myth. Myth is a very unique player. He kind of shares a common history with our emissary Poison Ivy here. Poison Ivy famously is a day one Ultima Online player back there in September of 1997, was one of the first to log into the shards here and begin their journey in Ultima Online. Myth actually is an alpha player. So he played through the alpha and beta of Ultima Online, and like so many veteran players, Myth, the call of Ultima Online is hard to resist for very long. I'm so very glad you found your way back to Ultima Online and also on the New Legacy Shard, Myth. So if you could please let us know first how you discovered Ultima Online, and again, what you are excited about for your New Legacy journey.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
That was way simpler than TeamSpeak used to be and everything before that. I started playing probably, it was around '95, late '95, with the alpha and the beta. I played a lot back then. I don't play nearly as much as I used to. Started on the Atlantic server once it launched. Eventually, it's probably 2 months later that they launched the Lake Superior server, and I had a bunch of friends that were over there or wanted to go over there, so we jumped over there, and I continued to play Atlantic and Lake Superior for a while. Played the game a lot. Played through the early days when the game wasn't very stable. Played through all the new patches in Public 16. After the game became item based, really wasn't as fun for me. I kind of stopped playing shortly after that. It's been about 15 years since I played a lot. I've kept my accounts active. They've always been there. And I've always had the itches, kind of just never went away. I've always wanted to play. So, and that itch gets itchier and itchier every now and then. And that's where we are now. I am at the Brit Library trying to figure out how to get a white worm and I'm trying to figure this game out now.
Myth, welcome. We're excited to have you here, and I think it's going to be exciting for you to rediscover this game from your youth. And I think the developers have created an experience, from what I've heard from veterans like Poison Ivy here and Zeke, that harkens back to the early glory days of Ultima Online. It's inspired by. So you're in the right place at the right time to come back to Ultima Online.
Right, I do like it. I have a bunch of friends that I'm going to try to get over here because it's a very unique experience, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you for being here. We also have violence in video games. One of our we usually don't have this many squires to sort of introduce and spotlight. So please bear with me as we take a moment to welcome our newest squires to the guild. Violence in video games. As you've been hearing, how you discover Ultima Online, and what are you most excited about for your new legacy journey?
Okay, yeah. So I discovered Ultima from my brothers. They picked up a game at the game store, and they looked at the back and they're like, "What do you mean other players are going to be playing this RPG with us?" And we just brought it home, and I watched them play it for a long time. Eventually, I was able to finally start playing for myself, but I was allowed to play only on other shards because there wasn't enough character spaces for mine. But just played it and just loved it. Loved everything about it. I loved crafting. I loved that I could put my name on armor. So I made a character named Homer J. Simpson, and that was hilarious seeing his armor sold all over the place. But then, as far as New Legacy, well, I took a long break from Ultima, and I came back, and suddenly people were just talking about New Legacy. And eventually, it did. When it finally came out, I was immediately ready for it. And just been playing on and off for 25 years.
Violence in video games. I'm so glad. As Patrick pointed out, you don't sound violent at all. I'm glad that you found this community through our great friend Epic Loot Gaming, and I want to welcome you here to the Wyvern's Lair as our new squire. I'm looking forward to the adventure ahead with you. And next up, we have Oki. Oki, once again, welcome to the Wyvern's Lair. We're interested in hearing as one of our new squires. How do you discover Ultima Online, and what you're most excited about for your new legacy journey? If you can get to a mic. We can't hear you. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I don't have push to talk on.
You're good.
I don't remember how I discovered Ultima Online. I started playing in Second Age, and I remember really just getting into it when I got a UO Renaissance disc in the mail and the art on it. Just seeing the guy fighting the dragon, and then just kind of exploring the world. I still remember my first trek out the north side of Britain and running into trolls and ettins. In terms of New Legacy, I really kind of wanted to experience it. The newer publishes on live are just kind of confusing to me, and with Publish 2, I'm just really kind of interested in the family heirlooms, so I'm gonna start hunting those down.
Welcome, Oki. I think we're all excited to chase down our respective family heirlooms, and credit to Parallax and the team for coming up with a very fun thing to chase for the next couple of months for us New Legacy players. Welcome to the Wyvern's Lair, and as I've shared with Myth and Violence in Video Games here, we're excited at the journey ahead with you. We also have another veteran player here who I've known when I first took my very earliest steps into the experience of Ultima Online almost 4 or 5 years ago. I spent some time with United We Fight, a long time guild there in Atlantic, something about an Atlantic institution as far as player communities go. They welcomed me, and amongst the players that I had the fortune of meeting during my time with United We Fight and on Atlantic at that point in time, Cinderella. Cinderella, welcome to the Wyvern's Lair. We're excited to have you as a squire. And again, that question that I present to every one of our squires: how you discover UO, and what are you excited about for New Legacy?
Well, how I discovered UO, I went to a national convention, and the lady I carpooled with had an emergency and had to go home. So the lady that ended up taking me home, she dropped me off at my cousin's house, and before she could take me home, she had to pick up her boyfriend, and she was playing UO, and I liked it, and I eventually started playing with her. And New Legacy, what's interesting me is the tameables I've been seeing.
Fair enough. Cinderella, you're a great member of you're a longtime member of the player community here, like so many others here at the Wyvern's Lair, including our friends who are joining us this evening. We're excited to have you amongst the guild for our New Legacy adventure. And I think that basically covers it with as far as welcoming the new squires to the guild. I do want to welcome a returning knight. We haven't seen you in a couple of months, Orc, but I know that you are crisscrossing the roads of the United States for work. We've been thinking about you, wishing you well, and I'm so very glad you're able to join us tonight. Orc, how have you been? If you can get to your mic.
Did you say Orc? My bad.
I said Orc. Who else would I be talking about?
I'm doing alright. Just got my laptop back, basically. I made an oopsie and it hit the floor and wasn't operable.
Well, we haven't forgotten about you. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight for a very special guild adventure with the rest of us and our friends. And with that, we can launch into very quick introductions. I, myself, as you all know, I'm Dungeon Master Wyvern. I am a gaming content creator here on YouTube, and I've recently branched out into streaming gaming content over Twitch. And I've had a long-held fascination with the history of Ultima Online, and also now with the modern experience of Ultima Online through the good folks at Broadsword Online Games like Chironix and Parallax here. So that's me. Over to Argenbarger.
Hi folks, I'm Argenbarger. I'm a game developer, a former or kind of hobbyist historian, and a newbie to the game. Kind of more of a honorary knight, if anything. Every other knight can take me out instantly, but I'm happy to be here. I'm also doing some kind of research projects for the guild, so yeah, happy to be tagging along and just really admire the game for a lot of the, deep mechanics that it offers, and just, the sheer kind of historical gravity of it. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Argenbarger, I'm so very happy that in another realm we had a chance to work together, and it's exciting to have you here. And I'm very pleased you've taken up the mantle of librarian of the Wyvern's Lair. To help us create a repository of knowledge and history for the guild moving forward.
Yeah, me too.
And next up is Crispy, who is joining us all the way from beautiful England on vacation with his son. Thank you so much for burning a late night candle to join us this evening, Crispy. Our friend over at Kindred Order of Loyalty.
Cheers, Wyvern. I'm not sure you can hear me because
We can.
Yeah, my setup's not great tonight, like because I'm traveling. But I'm in Kindred Order of Loyalty. We're on Atlantic and New Legacy, like loving it. That's it really. I'll be quick. And I'm really looking forward to the adventure tonight.
An occasional podcast co-host. Welcome, Crispy. Good to have you here as always. Next up is another UO legend alongside Pawn Star Gaming, the man, the myth, the epic Loot Gaming himself, aka Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us, Patrick. For those of you who may not know, for the very few of you who may not know Epic Loot Gaming, he has carried the torch as far as content creation for OSI has gone for years. I myself would visit his channel to find out about what was happening with Ultima Online, and it's such an honor and privilege to have an opportunity to game with you here in New Legacy, Epic Loot Gaming. But over to you. Your introduction in your own words, sir.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad to have come across y'all. Do you want the full?
Yes,
the full
it has to be. It has to be.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody on the outside and in between, my name is Patrick. This is not the Epic Loot Gaming channel, and today we're playing New Legacy with the devs.
Heck yeah.
And that's pretty much all I do. No, I do appreciate you getting me so into New Legacy. It's been a nice change of pace from retail. Like I said, if it wasn't for you in the guild, I really wouldn't be that into New Legacy. So you've sparked an interest, and you've helped me develop a character beyond what I could have done for myself. And I'm just happy to be here and participate along with y'all.
You make it more exciting for me too, Epic, and I'm looking forward to shenanigans with you on your channel as well in the future. So thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for everything that you've done to represent Ultima Online as a content creator. Next up is one of our longtime friends, Joker Soul Dragon.
What up? How's it going?
It's going.
Glad to be here.
That's it? That's all you have for us?
Well, I don't know what you want from me.
Just a quick introduction. Who you are.
Oh, okay. I am me. I'm just a longtime buddy of DM Wyverns. I like to hang out and get up to shenanigans. So that's pretty much all I do is game and hang out.
I appreciate you, Joker. The shenanigans are better with you as part of it. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah,
Next up
absolutely.
is Junior.
Hell. I'm Junior. I'm one of the, I feel like, few younger players. I'm only 23. Been playing UO since I was 7. Currently in college studying computer science, and this is a pretty epic gamer moment.
I'm excited that you're here to experience it with us, Junior. And I'm glad you're able to take some time aside from your finals here to join us for this very special guild adventure with the devs.
So true.
All right, right over to Poison Ivy, our emissary Poison Ivy.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! Woo! We made it.
Hey guys.
Hey Ivy.
That's all I got. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, you're excited. We're happy to have you here, Ivy. I'll put an introduction for Ivy here. On day 1 of New Legacy, I logged in and I streamed my experience alongside our community manager, Fenico. And during that stream, Poison Ivy showed up and reached out to me and said that she wanted to be part of this experience. And she has done so much for both the Wyvern's Lair and the New Legacy player community. You don't see her a lot on Discord, you don't see her a lot on the forums, but she's a big presence in game, and she's a big presence here in this guild. And we wouldn't be the Wyvern's Lair without her experience, her personality, and occasionally her clonking me over the head together with Zeke when I make a bad call or two as Guildmaster. Ivy, thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, we're family. We love you.
Cheers. And next up, her great husband, Rex, who brings the rumble.
Hey, I'm here. I love lamp. And as my Chinese grandmother used to say to me, the power of rice compels you.
He's also my gardening buddy.
Rex. Good to have you here, Rex. Over to Suzanne SF.
Hi. I've been a part of Wyvern's Lair for a long time. I lost track. I originally played the first Ultima when it came out. My father sent me the game. It gave me the game. So, you know, I remember that. So when Wyvern brought up Ultima Online, I was like, wow. And it's like playing the old games. Although it's a little bit hard, but I've been trying to practice, and I think I got it. So, anyways, I have a YouTube channel too. I haven't streamed very often, but lately. But anyways, it's just nice to play Ultima Online, and it brings back a lot of nice memories. So.
Suzanne, you're a joy to game with. I'm so glad you've been a longtime member of my community far before I began featuring Ultima Online as one of the pillars of my channel, and I'm glad you're part of this adventure with the rest of us. Thank you for being here tonight, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Of course. Knight Tay McCrae.
Yo, how's it going, man? I play Slick on here. So, I mean, this is probably like one of the only games like in my life that I've actually come back and played. I've always get that, you know, that itch to be like, oh, what's going on in Ultima Online? I mean, I can be away from it for, you know, a couple of years, come back, and then luckily I found this guild. I mean, this is like usually the only reason I come back sometimes is just to deal with you guys and hang out with you guys and play some stuff. So I appreciate you guys for having me, and I'm ready to get to today's little guild adventure.
Tay, you whenever you show up, you really set a great vibe and energy. I'm glad you're here with the guild, and I'm looking forward to rocking and rolling with you shortly.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm cray for Tay.
Same. I'm totally
Hey,
cray
I
for
love
Tay.
Thanks.
Next up is our friend over at the Mystic Circle, Tori, another longtime Ultima Online player.
Yes, this is my 20th year, so
hey.
Really exciting about that. I think for me, Ultima Online has just been a wonderful experience of being able to do a whole lot of things and not be focused in on just like the quest type of things, but you know, I have a tamer and a crafter and a decorator and just all kinds of things that I do and experience in game, which has always made it so much fun. And New Legacy for me represents, new pets, new deco, new stuff, new experiences, new challenges, and so I'm really looking forward to tonight. Thank you.
Looking forward to gaming tonight, Tori. Thank you for being here. I want to acknowledge Violet from the Ka Guild and also Ka website. They specialize in sharing taming knowledge with the Ultima Online player community. Thank you for joining us here on the TW Keep Discord voice channel. Violet, always a pleasure to see you. Over to Zeke, our emissary Zeke, last but far from least.
I just have 3 words for the devs. 10 of wisdom. Thank you very much.
That's it? That's all you have, Zeke?
That's it. That's all I got.
That's very memorable. I like the pitch. Speaking of the devs, we're joined this evening by Chironix and Parallax. Chironix, you want to quickly introduce yourself for us?
I got an email and I clicked on a link and now I'm here. I jest. My name is Greg, also known as Chironix, and I am the producer for Ultima Online. And I'm so thankful for all of you for allowing us to take part in this adventure tonight. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I think Nick did a tremendous job with all of the goodies that have gone into Publish 2 here. So I'm excited to see what you guys think with it.
I'm excited to have you here for the adventure, Greg. Thank you so much for making the time after hours for this. Next up is our content designer. The reason why we're all really super excited for the spring and summer season of New Legacy, none other than Parallax, content designer for Ultima Online.
Hello. Thank you for the introduction. I am Parallax, also known as Nick, content designer for UO, like you said. Published 2 was a lot of content going in, and I just want to ask you guys, how come you haven't unlocked the dungeon yet? You're slacking around. Come on. No, I'm kidding. It was intended to be a little bit of an ordeal, but you guys are making good progress. So, but yeah, thanks for having me.
We were trying, Parallax. We were trying, but it looks like you did a good job of keeping the shard pressing forward to unlock the secrets of Blackthorn's dungeon, or a version of it here on New Legacy. Okay, now that we have introductions out of the way, let me go ahead and do a quick check-in. Where are you folks, Greg and Nick, here on New Legacy? Are you here at the Guild Tower with us?
We are the rabble rousers that are Dudley Lightfinger, that's Greg, and I am Gideon.
Oh my goodness, I spotted Gideon, Slayer of Noobs, the devs, and Dudley Lightfinger, extra magical.
Oh no.
All right, cool. Well, before we, there's one thing that I would like to share with those who may be watching at the moment, or who will watch this stream in the future. I first want to thank both devs for making the time to join us on the stream, but really this is an appeal to the broader Ultima Online player community. The developers are here for us. This year and what's happening on New Legacy arguably represents a new chapter for Broadsword Online Games and the Ultima Online developer team. If you want to help with the beacon that is this great MMORPG experience, and you would like to connect with the devs, they want to connect with you too. So one way you could make that happen is by creating a voice for yourselves, like Violet and her colleagues over at Ka. I would encourage you, set up a website if that's your skill. Start blogging about Ultima Online. Start blogging about New Legacy. If websites aren't your thing, perhaps maybe a podcast is. Set up a podcast. A dummy like me can set up a podcast, so I'm sure anyone can. Start talking about your favorite things that's happening with Ultima Online, or maybe the things that you're upset about, and you can finally rage and have other people listen in to that rage and feed off of it, which is kind of what a lot of content creators occasionally do. They tap into the dark side. That's one way to do it. I don't do it here on my channel, but yes, podcasts.
Was that a personal attack?
Not at all, Epic. And speaking of personal attacks, the other route is to become a video content creator, a streamer like Epic Loot Gaming here. I encourage you guys, if you've been thinking about that, this is the year to do it. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to what's happening here with Ultima Online, New Legacy, and also in the production shards. Chironics here, Parallax, other members of the team, they will find a way to make themselves available. And to their credit, if for whatever reason you guys don't want to do that, go to the official forums. They're constantly listening. They're constantly taking on board our feedback and using that to guide their work as the custodians of this great MMORPG. So you all have a voice, and I encourage you to exercise that voice. It just so happens that, I have this channel and can provide something of a platform. I wish it was bigger, but I'm so very, very grateful that the developers have made the time to join us and collaborate with what I'm trying to do here on my channel for the Ultima Online community. All right, so the next thing I'd like to do before we formally set off and check out Publish 2 is Chironics and Parallax, just for this night only. Would it be okay if I made you honorary Knights of the Wyvern's Lair?
Only if I get a sweet merit badge.
Okay. All right, I'll take that as a yes. So, what I like to do when it comes, this is something that we do here at the Wyvern's Lair. I like ritual. I like creating a sense of accomplishment and progress and achievement for our members. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to go off camera for a moment because I feel super awkward about this, as I'm sure everyone else does, including the developers. If you all would enter the Wyverns Lair Guild House and join me in the first floor for a knighthood ceremony, a knighting ceremony.
Wait, is this a
I got a
hammer?
ways to ride. Give me a moment. My swamp dragon only goes so fast.
Excuse me, is it all stay?
All stay, correct.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're all here, so I'm going to go ahead and begin the knighting ceremony for us. Chironics and Parallax, you both entered the world of Ultima Online as strangers. But your courage, strength, and daring deeds have set you apart. Today you rise and claim your rightful place as honorary knights of the Wyvern's Lair. Your recorded virtuous deeds include Chironics for serving the Ultima Online player community first as an event moderator, then as a designer, and finally, now as the lead producer for Ultima Online. Parallax for playing and studying MMOs large and small, joining the UO community, and then accepting the great quest to join the Broadsword Online Games team as a content designer for Ultima Online. For all these reasons and many more, we thank you both for your devotion to Ultima Online, our player community, and for the exciting chapter you're developing for us all with the new Legacy Shard. Can I get a round of applause, adventurers?
Woo!
Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
This
All right.
Discord is filtering out applause, probably.
All right. Okay. With that out of the way, I think we can get to the business of actually doing fun things. Thank you so much for sitting through that awkwardness, Chironics and Parallax. But it really is an honor to have you both here with us this evening.
No apologies needed. It tickles at my heartstrings. I have been known to knight a member of the guild or two in my day.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So I have a couple of suggestions about what we could do, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts here, Greg and Nick. So I'm thinking we could do a tour of Vesper Museum, just kind of walk on by and talk a little bit about the antiquity system that we're all looking forward to for Publish 2. Visit Castle Blackthorn, and then take on some legendary foes. Does that sound good to you folks?
Sounds like a great idea.
All right.
Lead the way.
Could we get a gate to Vesper Museum, Poison Ivy? All right, gates up, everyone. Step on through. All right, the floor is officially open. Wow, I can hardly get through. I'm going to put my dragon outside. So yeah, if anyone has any questions for the devs, you know, the floor is open.
I have a question.
Go for it, Joker.
Have you guys noticed the bug that if you type in your password wrong one time in the enhanced client and then you type it in again, it will not log you in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
I accidentally had caps lock on and I was like, dang it.
Yeah,
Reload
I
again.
quit the game and do it all over again. Yeah, happens quite often to me.
Hey, so for those of you who don't know, we actually came by yesterday with Zeke, Poison Ivy, Epic here, Fireforge, Tori, and Junior. And at the time, the antiquities had not populated in the first floor of the Vesper Museum. But if you come here, you can actually see many of the artifacts that players throughout the New Legacy community have donated to the museum, and now they're on display. So we got a time-worn skull of the sealed catacomb discovered by Urgrai Taraxian, and other artifacts like this. Can you share with us a little bit, Parallax, how the idea for the Vesper Museum came about?
Yeah. So I actually like looking at this display down here now that there's a lot of variety in here. So this Vesper Museum, as some of you are aware, is a system on production, and we wanted to try to reutilize that for New Legacy, but change it up a bit. And we recently had a production event, Shadows Awakening, where you would get cursed artifacts from treasure hunting related to that event line. And so there's a similar aspect to that, where these are randomly generated based on some criteria. Instead of doing cursed artifacts, we're doing antiquities that relate to the lore and the land and stuff like that. So my thought was, it started out, let's collect these, and what's the purpose of collecting them? Well, we can turn them in for points. So cool, now we're turning them for points. And then trying to incentivize players, why should they turn them in for points instead of keeping for deco? And the idea ultimately spawned as down here as dynamically decorating the lower half of the museum. So just for information purposes, the reason why you didn't see this yesterday is this will update once per day at server up, and it will pull from a random assortment of anything that was donated in the donation box. So even if someone has donated a sacred vase before, if you can donate one as well and you have a chance to have yours put on display, it will update daily. And there are some harder to find antiquities. If you notice over here towards the south, this whole display case is empty. It looks like no one has found these or donated them yet, so keep looking.
Looks like Virtue has been completely forgotten here on New Legacy.
Yeah.
Shame on us. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about where this exciting system came from, Parallax. I want to shout out Junior here, who's all over the first day of display here at the Vesper Museum. You can see Junior's donations to the museum under his character name Alzai Voidwalker. So I've seen several objects donated by Junior here. One from Zeke. We got the Arcane Saber of the Vanished Realm by Sylvanas Terra. It's one of Zeke's characters. And we also have one from our knight, our fellow knight, John, Captain Insano Lumpia, which I'm sure will give Ivy and Rex a smile, along with myself. Very, very cool. Does anyone have any questions before we push on from the museum and check out Castle Blackthorn? Got to get them all. I think that's what the silence means. Let's see.
I'd be willing to donate my tall straw hat of hardening to the museum.
You could try. I don't know if they'll take it, but you
darn
could certainly try.
It's always the problem. I tried to donate a burrito the other day, and it just wouldn't take it.
I do love the leaderboard in 3 different categories: the House Discoveries, Guild Discoveries, and Antiquities donated. That's a really nice touch.
Did you see we've been blessed with a trash barrel?
Oh yes, I see that.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so I added that late last night as I came to the museum to look at its status, and it was just trashed with all kinds of stuff on the ground. So yeah, use the trash barrel.
Now, this is one of the only ones in game in public. Is that meant to be that way?
Yeah, the bank don't have one.
I will say that this trash barrel should have like a unique title, like a trash barrel of Parallax or something like that. But thank you, Parallax. I think that's going to come in useful for people coming to donate.
Trash barrel of the unwanted.
Yes, trash barrel of the unwanted antiquities or something to that effect. All right, cool. Thank you so much for coming by and taking a few questions from us about the antiquity hunt for Publish 2. Next, we're going off to the really, this is not a small part of Publish 2, the Antiquity Hunt. What's the formal name of it? It skips my mind at the moment. Does anyone remember? Someone with a better memory than myself?
It's the Vesper Antiquity Hunt.
There we go, the Vesper Antiquity Hunt. I appreciate that, Parallax. Yeah, it's actually a really big part of Publish 2, so I'm really excited to dive into that. But the third, and arguably one of the most exciting, and I think probably the biggest lifts for you developers, is the Forsaken Bloodline dungeon, which of course is a modified version of Blackthorn's dungeon. Zeke was telling me actually that the dungeon that we have here on New Legacy harkens back to the very first iteration of Blackthorn's. Isn't that right, Zeke?
Yes, not the dungeon part, but the upstairs part.
Okay, got you. The upstairs part. Well, Ivy, are you ready to create a gate to us to Castle Blackthorn or near it, so we can check out the the dungeon there.
I forget which one of the rooms it is, but we can try this
The
one.
mysterious house.
I don't know. I just have bookcase on it.
Oh, we got
There you go.
Shaman Fires waiting intrinsic for a way to join us.
I see that, Argenbarger. So as we come out the door, I'm going to pause for a moment and welcome Shaman Fire here to the Guild Adventure. Shaman, thank you for being here. You may have missed this, but we're happy to have you here. We all did very brief introductions, so I'm going to turn over the mic to you. Your story matters here, and I'd love for you to have a chance to introduce yourself to the developers here, Chironics and Parallax.
Hi. I'm a 3D artist that works on games and interested in video games of all different kinds and stories. It's nice to meet you guys.
It's good having you here, Shamanfire. You and Argenbarger are the best. So are you next to a Moongate, Shamanfire?
Not currently. I'm over by the warrior training area, but I can go somewhere.
Yeah, we're like Warriors Guild intrinsic. I think the Moongate's just up there. It's a little south.
Get to the Moongate, and then let us know when you're in Moonglow. Take the Moongate to Moonglow, and then Ivy will send you a gate.
Sounds good.
I missed the train.
You missed the train, so you're back at the Guild House, Joker?
Yeah, I'm still back at the museum.
Oh, you're at the museum.
Where I belong.
Ivy, what's the best way to get to wrangle Joker with us? Oh, gate's coming up for you,
Tell him
Joker.
to go to the Moonglow Moongate.
No, I'm sitting there. You see what? You're the best for me, right?
Yeah. I was about to go to the Moongate. I didn't realize where I was.
Oh.
Yeah. There's the red Moongate for you, Joker. Step through it. There we go.
I see it. I'm on.
All right. Diamond House page. Oh, that's cool. Crispy. Okay, let's push up to Castle Blackthorn. Zeke, you want to lead the way?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm on you like white on rice, Zeke.
All right, that's a trapdoor that leads down to the Forsaken Castle.
Good, because I thought I peed myself for a second. Big booty Judy.
Fire, are you at Moonglow yet?
Just have to step on it. You don't have to click it or anything.
I love these trees.
Argenbarger, Shamanfire, did you make it to Moonglow?
Well, I'm with you, Paul. I was with you.
Oh, got you. Shamanfire, how you doing?
Sorry, I'm a little unfamiliar with the intrinsic area still. It just started.
Would anyone be able to go and grab Shamanfire real quick?
Yeah,
No, not you, Argenbarger. Violence in video games. You said you do it.
Yeah, I'm running around there.
Cool. All right, everyone down to the dungeon.
Do I go through the lightning?
Yes, you do. Oh, you probably can't actually. That reminds me. You probably need to enter the dungeon. You do need to do a quest chain to get the earrings of the Forsaken Heir. So you might not have that, Joker. So you might have to wait up top for us for a little bit.
I don't have it either. We're chilling.
Okay.
I'll do it. I'll be waiting here for you.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that the extent of what we have? No, we got 5 essences out of the number that we need, it seems.
Hey, so these essences, do we have to kill like that person just for a chance at them? I'm assuming, right?
The boss drops at least 9 of them anyway.
Yeah, Zeke, you actually did the math on this yesterday. Do you want to sort of recap it for us while we have the developers?
Okay, so all right, so there's boss ones in the middle, However, there are 9, but there are only currently 7 bosses if you count the manticores individually. So I'm not sure if the champ spawn bosses also have the essence, or the orc champ spawn, or is it Piper or Richter, or so. As far as I can tell so far, we don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Just
And
curious.
apparently somebody at least got a Shadow Reaver one. I thought there was somebody that said 2 of them, but I only see one of them up. So I got Vey, somebody, and then there's Icemanders, there's Titan Weave, and Crimson Dragon. I don't see a Solan one up yet, or either one of the Manticores. But I don't know who the extra 2 are. So can anybody enlighten us that happens to be in channel?
Well, I guess my question for the developers is this is a lot of work, obviously, to create this dungeon, and the Shard is still working to unlock the gate that leads to the dungeon proper. It seems an incredibly ambitious project. What was, without getting into spoilers here for us, Greg and Parallax, what were some of the biggest lifts for the developer team in terms of implementing the Forsaken Bloodline dungeon?
Whole thing.
Everything.
Partly joking, but partly not. It's quite an extensive project. Like, once, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I'll kind of go over what was in the patch notes. It's designed as a progression dungeon, something that we haven't done in Ultima before. So the progress will save. You have to clear it to access on other parts of the dungeon. The idea is that, you can work together with the whole shard or with your guild to clear certain wings or certain bosses, but once that boss is dead, you won't respawn until the rest of the dungeon is cleared. But it was a very ambitious project. I thought it came together pretty well. There are some secret stuff in here that you guys can try to discover once the dungeon's unlocked. And about the actual unlock mechanic of it, you guys are on the right track of what you need to do. So I won't obviously tell you exactly what you need to do, but yeah. But you're on the right track. Funny story about the Shadow Reaver essence. That one was actually designed to be the hardest one to find, but in fact it was the first one found because someone, basically when server 1 up, they explored every single area of the game to try to find what was different, and they happened to find a secret hidden mini boss and kill it and get the drop and put the essence in there. So that was kind of an unexpected surprise, but hey, sometimes that stuff happens.
Isn't that like one of the most exciting things about working on an MMO as a developer, is just seeing what the player base does or does not do? And I find like again, my handle's Dungeon Master, right? So it's, you just kind of set the stage of play and then allow the players to do their thing. I think that's a really kind of exciting and satisfying feeling to have that's unique to working on an MMO. Am I correct in saying that for you folks, Chironics and Parallax?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most enjoyable and amazing and also crushingly frustrating things about building content, because your expectations are always challenged with what you think is going to happen versus what actually happens. Nick just recounted the story of how the most difficult and rare to find thing was the first thing that got found, and you're like, wow, did not see that one coming. But that's also what's the most exciting, because I'll tell you a funny story about when we play tested this internally, right? There were some very funny moments based on some of the reactions that other members of the team had, and seeing those reactions being as genuine as they were, even for members of our team, it's made the playtest that much more enjoyable. So, seeing those reactions is what kind of keeps us slogging back to the keyboard every time, and seeing you guys enjoy this kind of content is super rewarding for us.
Cheers, Chironics. I also want to thank everyone here in the Stygian Abyss. I'm so sorry, it's a very full guild adventure and stream this evening with the developers joining us, but I want to welcome Queen Tiamat. I also want to welcome M. Arl Squared and Pocted out there in the Stygian Abyss. And also special shout out to my cousin, I guess, William Mata, saying, Wyvern, your camera is still off. Thank you so much for letting me know. I easily lose track of things like that during a stream, William Mata. So I appreciate you giving me a little nudge there. And yes, if I'm being a forgetful DM dinosaur, please let me know. Okay, let's do a quick check-in. Is everyone here? Did we get? Oh wait, Ergenbarger and Shenfire and Joker are probably still up top. Let's get a quick picture with the devs by the essences. Zeke, could you help out too? Because you get those nameplates over.
Sure. Take a picture while we're not there.
We'll take a picture with you. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right, I'm going to give a count of 5, and then we'll go ahead and snap that picture and move on. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Jeez.
Oh, I blinked. Let's take it again.
Let's take it again. All right, cool. Any questions from the rest of the attendees here before we push off from the Forsaken Bloodline Dungeon? I'm so excited for this, and I will say that I really enjoyed the narrative that we had to follow to acquire these earrings of the Forsaken Air. That was quite fun. Then I will say.
I would just.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I would just like to say that one thing that I will tell you guys to clear up some confusion that I've seen on forums and general chat and some other places. This is a global one-time unlock. You don't have to find these essences every single time. Once the dungeon is unlocked, it is unlocked. So just putting that out there to anyone that may be confused on that.
Got you. Okay. Yes, that was helpful. In fact, Violet pointed that out to myself a few hours ago. That once once we gather the keys for the Forsaken Bloodline Dungeon, it will remain unlocked for the player community. That's excellent to know, Parallax, because I was under the assumption that we would have to essentially unlock the dungeon every time it was cleared, or after it was cleared. So it's good to hear that once the dungeon's unlocked, it will remain accessible for players on the Legacy community. It's great.
Don't worry, the dungeon's plenty hard.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was reading about how there's 20 bosses mixed in with legendary foes in here. Like, goodness gracious me, it's going to be hellaciously fun trying to clear this dungeon, I'm sure, for the player community once we are able to take our first steps into the dungeon proper. Okay, I suggest we push on with the evening. Let's all reassemble. Let's get outside of Castle Blackthorn here, and let's all port over once more to the guild house, guild tower, and we'll take our next steps in the Let's Play from there. So all get out, wait for Poison Ivy to create our gate, and there we are. We got Fire Shaman here. We got Argenbarger and Shamfire and Joker. I think we're all out.
Yeah.
We're ready for that gate.
You know, I have a question for the devs.
Shoot, Joker.
And it's just a fun question, that's all. With game development, you know, it can be a very arduous thing. You know, a lot of hours staring at a screen, and you gotta unwind, you gotta decompress. What games do you like to play right now in your free time? Be it single player, MMO, or what have you? Like, what's your special sauce right now?
Let's start with Chironics.
Well, that's a really good question. Let's see. At the moment, I'm not playing much of anything because it's mostly work on UO, and I have a lot of other stuff going on outside of gaming that is drawing my attention. But up until all that nonsense started, I was knee-deep in City Skylines 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've been a huge fan of SimCity since probably SimCity 2000 was the game I was playing on the display computers at the electronics store where I lived in New Jersey as a kid. And I've just always been obsessed with like modeling, whether it be like railroads or dioramas or things like that. So being able to model a little city was always something appealing to me. And for a long, long time, I was playing SimCity. And then when City Skylines came out, I was like, whoa. So when the sequel came out, I was really into that. And then before that was the Jurassic Park game where you build a Jurassic Park.
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, that was really good.
What about Anno?
Which one is it?
Anno?
I don't think I played that one.
They're mostly like Victorian and pre, but it's the same thing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
building
I
a city,
think
you're doing all that.
Library, yeah. I don't know that I ever played it with any degree. Before that, I was playing a lot of Civilization. Back before my friends made it not so enjoyable, we were playing a lot of Call of Duty. We kept getting killed on our team because my one friend cares more about upping his KD ratio than actually getting wins. So, if he listens to this, John, you know that's true. But yeah, so we play a lot of different games. I play Wordle every day with my family. That's another game we're playing. So,
Thank you so much, Chironix. Parallax.
Yeah, I go from game to game. It depends. If to stay on topic with the question, to unwind after a long day, usually I go for something simple, usually an action type game where I can destroy some stuff. Lately it's been games like World of Warships or MechWarrior 5 or stuff like that, where I can kind of just go into a game, blow up some stuff, not have to commit too much time to it. Other than that, enjoy stuff like bullet hell type games, Vampire Survivors, Soulstone Survivors. Those games are really fun to play. And recently I picked up Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, although I haven't put up too much hours into that one, but that one's pretty fun as well.
I love that game. I love that game.
So that actually reminds me, I'm going to probably produce a couple of short videos on various features of New Legacy in the weeks ahead. But one of the things that I was very, very happy to see, it's kind of a minor thing with the Publish 2 patch notes, but in my opinion, it was something that was like sorely wanted by the player community, which was the ability to inspect other player portraits and their legacy sashes. So I just checked out Tay-Tay's character here, and I actually was able to pull up Tay-Tay's player portrait of Slick Thar, which is a really nice touch. Obviously it's signaled as kind of a defining part of customizing your character for their New Legacy adventure when you first reach the town of Oklo, and I'm really glad that now I can actually take a look at the player portraits of my fellow players. That's a great touch. So cheers to developers, for you folks, for seeing the value in that. Let me see if I can take a look at Slick's sash here. I'm not so sure. Yeah, he's got his legacy sash on. If I double click it, how does it work? Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Bring
New
up the
sash.
context menu on it. Yeah,
I did. And Tay-Tay actually doesn't have a single medal on his sash. Shame on you, Tay-Tay. All right, who's wearing their legacy sash and wants to show it off live on stream? Everyone's wearing their dragon hide or whatchamacallit sashes at the moment. Does anyone have their legacy sash on?
I've got my sash on.
Violence,
I have mine too. But...
Do you have medals on it?
I've got something.
All right.
Jack has his on.
I'll take a look at Jack's. That's Zeke. Let's take a look at the undead vampire pirate captain, Jack Sparrow, and his legacy sash. Let's take a look at Jack's legacy. Oops, there it is. Oops. This is...
Very nice. Very nice. Making these is probably one of the most enjoyable, or at least my favorite thing that we probably did on New Legacy, was these different styles.
Yeah. Now, I'm using the Classic Web Client, and the Classic Web Client is not... it is officially sanctioned by Broadsword Online Games, but it is being maintained by hobbyist developers. So it's currently in beta. So for any player who is taking advantage of the great features of the web client, we do have to keep in mind that it is in beta, and that it is not something that Broadsword has direct control over. They're collaborating with these developers on it. So currently this is how it displays for myself on the web client, but if you are using the enhanced client or classic client, the sash here and the medals on it would be displayed vividly for a player taking a look at the sash of their companion. And again, yes, I agree with you, Chironix. This is such a nice touch, and I think a lot of us have pride in terms of filling out our legacy sashes with our achievements as we go through our journey on the new legacy. All right, let's take a class photo out here, and then let's let the slaughter begin. So everyone, actually, let's put away our pets because they do take up so much real estate. So hop off your pets, park your pets, and then we'll come out, take a quick class picture in front of the guild tower here. That way, everyone. And Zeke, if you could get some pictures so we can get people's nameplates, that'd be amazing. So wait for everyone to get into view here. And then I'll give a countdown of 5. Crispy, you got to get moving closer. There you go. We got Suzanne. Excellent. We're all here. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. You get pictures on your end, Zeke?
Yeah.
Did we
Well,
get
I got
everyone?
one anyway. I got one.
Okay, excellent. All right, so this is what we do. This is our tradition here at the Wyvern's Lair. You know, usually the preamble for our guild adventure doesn't take an hour, but obviously there was a lot to walk through and talk about with our special guest this evening, and of course everyone who turned out for the guild adventure, the Knights and Squires of the Lair and our friends. Ivy, Zeke, what legendary foes can we pay a visit to that may be up for us?
I think they all died when you were talking.
All of them? Every single
From what
one?
I saw in the log. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I don't know what's up. I've been looking in the journal, but I haven't seen anybody.
Okay, gotcha. We'll wait for Ivy and you to, or anyone else here can really help out with the task. We're not going to put this on your shoulders, but let's give it a moment. And if no legendary foe is up, then Junior here has very helpfully offered to put together some treasure maps for us so we can hunt for our heirlooms and antiquities.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Junior?
Yes.
I'm not sure to know what the quality of the map is or whatever. I have a blessed one. If that's any good, you're welcome to it.
When you decrypt a map, it becomes blessed. So.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know. I
And
don't know
unique.
how to tell what its actual value is, but I will give it to you if you want.
Sure. I'm standing right here next to Dudley Lightfinger with the black, red, and yellow.
Vay is up.
I'm
Vay's up?
colorblind.
Ooh, Vay is up. Nice. And we have a
That's rare.
a new pillar there.
You want to get us a gate, Ivy, to Vay?
That's Argenbarger. It's spinning around. Where are you at? I'll give you the map.
I'm standing right here. Here.
Here, I'm on the Swamp Dragon, so that I'm the only one with the Swamp Dragon.
I just probably marked it.
Gate's up.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that works. It's a little bit on the nose.
I was about to give you access to our donation box, Chironics
No, I have
and
this one
Parallax,
too.
but I noticed that you came dressed for the occasion with your characters here.
Oh, she's been
Yeah.
down fast.
Well,
We might even be sporting some equipment that's coming from the Blackthorn dungeon raid when it's unlocked.
What? Oh, I gotta
Check
take a
it out.
closer look. Everyone's gonna
cheating.
open up the
They're
paper
cheating.
doll.
Orange streams of invulnerability. Oh man, that's a nice look to see.
There you go.
When they drop, we loot.
Hey, that makes sense.
I actually have a question about the draw words.
Go for it, Junior.
I'm curious as to how the concept for them was conceived. Like, what the thought process was.
That's a great question.
And if there's going to be any lore about them in the future.
Yeah, so basically the Trawlworms came about wanting to introduce a new pet into New Legacy. They're based off the Reptilons, which is a favorite pet of mine on production.
Uh-oh. Junior's a big Reptilon
That's
fan.
Junior's favorite pet.
Nice. So I wanted to bring him into New Legacy and give some colors as a chase element for players to hunt for. Lore-wise, we may introduce some lore regarding them. You know, anything goes in New Legacy right now with all the mysterious magical stuff going on. But yeah, so I mean, they were introduced as this is another pet in the dragon family that players can get. My ultimate goal with unique and rare pets is to have more than just one option. You know, obviously Emberling right now is the pet everyone wants, or a Manticore. I think the draw worms will add a nice variety to that once players can get enough points to get the lures from the Vesper Antiquity system. So
You have no idea the punishment Junior's putting himself through right now, Parallax, to get his hands on the draw worm.
He's over halfway there.
I'm actually at 700 now. So I've been playing UO since published, like 60, like seriously. I mean, I played as a kid, but like, this is the draw worms were the single most excited I've ever been for a UO update.
Cheers, Junior, and cheers to the developers for, you know, having a pulse on at least one player in the UO community.
I felt so targeted, but I've never been happier with this game.
That is all the delightful creative stylings of Parallax and his encyclopedic knowledge of all things UO pets.
So I have a question. How early on did you guys as a team come upon this brilliant idea of tying in New Legacy, the history here, the events here, together with the events and history of the production shards? Because I thought that was such a great way to tie in the two communities that you know, obviously the vast production shard community that has existed for many years, and this growing pioneering New Legacy community. I like that. I do like how what we do here kind of informs the story of production and vice versa.
I'm glad you noticed. Yeah, so part of it was practical, and part of it was part of our kind of fictional design ethos that we try to adhere to. Nick and I actually were having this conversation earlier. For the years that I was doing a lot of design work on UO, and even as an EM before that, it was always important to me that we try and stay at least somewhat true to Ultima as an intellectual property. Now, fortunately for us, the 80s were a wild time, and there was no limit to what actually made it into the Ultima games over the years. So if you look at something like how we did with Time of Legends, like that came directly out of Savage Empire, and when we released Time of Legends, the goal there was to try and use some of those inspirational elements for various systems and different pets and things like that. So part of it is we want to stay true and keep telling this story as it relates to what's going on, whether it be on production or New Legacy, in a way that makes sense between the two worlds. The other practical reason is that we have kind of gotten into this cadence of doing a New Legacy update and then a production update, and we wanted a way for them to be linked to one another. So we kind of put our heads together, and usually the way it happens, and Nick can touch on this too, is like one of us will say something and then we'll be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, and then all of a sudden, like, we have this plan in front of us that we never even intended. Like, I can't wait until you see what's coming in Publish 120. I know it's not specifically New Legacy related, but it's going to be sweet from both a fictional and content perspective, because it does draw inspiration for what's happening on New Legacy right now.
It's so cool. I love the fact that it's going to be, of course, not always, but I'm glad at least for the first season there's going to be this great tie-in between both shards, if you will. Yeah, it's the multiverse.
Well, I'm ready for the new dungeon now. I just got me a Nightmare Beastery.
Hey, congratulations, Zeke. I was going to say, I think the developers took pity on me too, because I got the Minesweeper sleeves of invulnerability. on that Fey, and it's been like
way out Javar's on these guys.
Those are supposed to go to our packs. That was my bad.
Could I ask for Parallax and Chironics to join me outside of Vay's cavern here, and could I ask for Poison Ivy to help me out with this, if you don't mind, Poison? I'm going to go ahead and take. What's that?
Sorry. I already went back to Moonglow.
Oh, where is everyone?
They went through a gate. There was a gate up, and everybody went through it, and we're at Moonglow.
Okay, I'm over to Moonglow then.
Gate hoppers, man.
Fine, not a problem. I'm gonna go to Moonglow. Ivy, I'm gonna open up the paper dolls for Chironics and Parallax. If you have the stream up, it would be great if we could put on display and kind of preview some of the very cool things players might be able to find for themselves in the depths of the Forsaken Bloodline dungeon. Where'd you guys get off to, Greg and Parallax? You come to the Moon Gate if you guys aren't otherwise disposed.
Sure. If you put a Moon Gate up, I will
gladly
go into it.
Where did he go? Where are you guys?
Oh, we're down by
Moon Gate.
What's that, Parallax? I mean, Chironics?
Well, now we're over by the main Moon Gate.
Oh, there we
go.
Gotcha.
We're just hopping in random gates, you know, UO style.
UO style. Yep. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take a look at Dudley Lightfinger once again. That's Parallax, right? Or is that? No, it's
Greg.
Chironics. Okay, so we're looking at Chironics here. You want to read out the items here that I'm highlighting, Poison Ivy?
It'll be a sec before I'll have to step back for a second. I gotta go do something for my son, and then I'll be back.
No worries, Joker.
Okay, I'm sorry. You want me to read out what?
Just open up Dudley's paper doll, and let's go through the equipment that he has on his character, Chironics, here. I'll let you read it out.
So I'm looking at Widow's Wall of Invulnerability. Is that...
All right.
I can't get the stat. Are you going to give the stats on it?
Oh, I'll let you do that.
They don't have the stats. Just the names.
Just the names. So go on from Widow's Wall. Next.
So, Rift Forged Great Helm of Invulnerability. Let's see. Rift Forged Bam Braces of Invulnerability. Supremely Accurate Rift Carver of Vanquishing. Rift Forged Greaves of Invulnerability. Rift Forged Gauntlets of Invulnerability. So you got some Serpent's Coil on there. You got Matriarch's Band. Rift Forged Chestplate of Invulnerability. And here's Mantle of Fury and Eye of Kuriko. It's a good build.
Very cool.
And that's on Dudley.
You didn't mention shoes.
And he has on some shoes.
All right, Zeke, would you mind reading out Parallax's setup here on Gideon?
They have he just switched shields because they had identical except for weapons. Clockwork Juggernaut panel of invulnerability is the shield.
Cool.
And he had the surprisingly accurate supremely accurate Rift Carver of Vanquishing.
Very cool.
But everything else was the same as they had identical.
Rickwalker's pendant, I think, is unique. But otherwise, yes, I think you're correct. That is such a cool items for the New Legacy
I definitely like the plate mail suits though.
They look great. They look fantastic.
Reforged.
All right. What else is next for us? Oh, let's get another picture here, Zeke, if you wouldn't mind. Let's get a quick picture of everyone here. I struggle with my own little camera. Everyone, I'll give a quick countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we got some visitors. We got some friends from the community. Garrett there. What else do we have? We got Garrett. We got Lady Provincia. These are from Never Lucky. Rocksteady. That's Pocted. They all snuck into the family photo, and they are family. They're absolutely family. So glad to have them here with us. All right, what's next on the Legendary Foe circuit? Zeke, Ivy.
I'm checking. I checked Manticores. They are not up.
Okay, Manticore's not up. Thank God. Parallax.
Well, the way we ripped through Vade, the Manticores would only take 5 minutes.
How about Crimson? Crimson always gives me a death roop. I will tell you, Parallax, out of all the legendary foes, I fear Crimson the most because of their burst potential. It's just, you're okay one moment, you're dead the next. You got to be very careful with Crimson.
That's actually a question I have for you guys while we're waiting here. What is your most favorite encounter and what's your least favorite encounter?
Ooh, good question. I'll let anyone here take it.
I like Manticore.
Best one.
What do you like about Manticore, Zeke?
For sure. I like that it has different stages. And I think that's what he said about the dungeon is going to have also kind of like different stages or progression. So I kind of like that. I like the fact that first you're fighting one, then you're fighting the other, then you're doing first back to the other one again, and then the cyclones, and then both together. I think it's a fun encounter. You have to really pay attention to what's going on.
For me, I would say, as I was saying earlier, and we want other people here aside from myself for sure. Crimson Dragon Manticore is fun. I love how intricate it is. There is the stages to it. There's the environmental hazards you got to keep track of as a player when those explosives sort of show up on the ground. It definitely keeps you on your toes. But what I really like about Crimson is that I never ever feel safe when I'm fighting Crimson. Maybe that's because I play a warrior tamer and I have to get in close to Crimson to contribute to the legendary foe encounter. But again, just the sheer burstiness of the damage Crimson can do. I've literally been fine. I've looked away for a second, looked back, and I'm in a gray screen. And the only legendary foe that does that is Crimson. And so anytime I'm in a Crimson encounter, I'm terrified. I'm hopeful that I have friends or guild members there to watch my health bar. And if I don't, the moment I take a tick of damage, I'm running upstairs. Like the cowardly lion I am.
Crimson is not up.
Thank goodness.
So what you're saying is I need to prevent you from running upstairs when you're engaged with the Crimson Dragon.
Whoa, well, you know, it really helps to be able to heal and res people upstairs. And
I think he was being facetious. But yeah.
No, I know that. I'm just saying,
we got a gate?
It's okay. It's okay if you block him, but please.
Are we going through that gate?
Us that are healers.
Ivy, is that our gate?
Where are we going?
I don't know. I'm checking.
I'm down in the matriarch. And Sand and Gil, she's up.
Okay, we're going through the gate.
I don't have a gate up for you. I don't know whose gate that is.
Well,
that was mine.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries.
Oh no.
Going in strange gates.
This is my least favorite one.
We're right outside of town. It's not even a big deal.
No worries.
Did they have candy?
Do you have candy? So yeah. So who else here has input here for Parallax? We got Zeke. We got myself. Come on, someone Epic. Let's hear from Epic. You're quite new to the shard. Oh, go ahead, Ivy. You had something to say?
I was just gonna say, even though I enjoy the heck out of all the new stuff, I'm still a sucker for like Nero and our little Piper guy. You know, I enjoy doing the tamp spawns. I would love for a NL specific tamp.
Like I love doing a bit of Breaky, like Rick, but you know, it's the classics are still great. You know?
How about you, Epic? You're new to the shard. You're taking your first steps into it, but you've had a little taste of the legendary foes we have here. Curious to see your first sort of like thoughts or impressions of legendary foe encounters here.
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely feels newer. The boss fights, the phases, things like that. It feels like there's just been some more modern aspects in general put into it, which I'm absolutely loving. I will say anything that we can do. Well, I shouldn't say we. I'm not I'm not part of the burrito. Anything the team can do to make things more accessible for new players and just easier for new players to understand with New Legacy, I think is generally the right move. And so far, I've noticed for me personally, the boss fights are easy to understand. They're easy to find after you get shown or you go there one time or two. I don't feel like it's, for me personally, it's not like a champ spawn on retail where everything is just time consuming and overwhelming. I feel like things are just kind of done at a good time pace. There's nice little phases, and in all honesty, it's probably my favorite version of UO right now with everything going on and how it's been done.
Myth, you've been here for Alpha, and you just returned, and maybe you're experiencing some of this for the first time, but I'm curious as to your thoughts here about the legendary foes that we're currently battling.
I don't normally stay alive like I have been right now. I'm usually dead or on gray screen, but I really, really do enjoy the content. Back when I started, we didn't have a lot of content. Nothing really changed. You get bored with the game. All you had was PvP. And I'm a PvPer. I played that version of the game quite a bit. That's probably pretty much what I did for the first 15, 20 years playing it. But the new content with the PVM and all this stuff that I'm seeing tonight, it just gives you a better option, a lot more to do.
Cheers.
So I like it, yeah. You guys are doing a good job with trading.
I want to go back to Epic Loot Gaming here for a second, aka my friend Epic. He did say that, he made this distinction between the team and us, and no, I think it's a we. I think it's a we, Epic. I think that, we all have a hand in making Ultima Online a great experience for new players, and I think the devs understand that. And to the credit of this massively multiplayer community, I think that you have some exceptionally kind, welcoming players who have made their home here in UO. Take Zeke here, for example, veteran player. I was brand new to the game. Poison Ivy too, for that matter. They realized that I'm basically learning as I go. They embraced me, they welcomed me, and they're helping me learn the game together with the Knights and Squires of the Lair and our friends here. And yeah, I think that's something that's a secret power when it comes to anyone thinking to join Ultima Online, is that just try to introduce yourself, and you will find someone out there in the player community to take you on the win. Orc here, I remember him helping out some random player, and I was like, hey man, you're wasting your time, just leave him alone. And he's like, no, I gotta do this. This player needs my help, and I'm gonna spend the next 10-20 minutes helping him with whatever they may need. So yeah, it's a great player community. Anyone else for legendary foe thoughts? Slurms.
Kind of one. When looking at reusing assets, in development, in production and stuff like that, you always have to make sure that you're, using your time wisely and using your assets appropriately. When approaching New Legacy and stuff for like these bosses and stuff, where do you see yourself with placing utilized old assets and giving them a new face in New Legacy? Is that a thing that you look at specifically, or how do you reutilize?
Short answer is yes. The longer answer is that we are fortunate in that in the nearly 3 decades that the game has been in production, there are very little things that we have to create for the very first time. Now, there's a giant asterisk that goes after that statement. Sometimes it is better to create a new asset, more so non-art related, than it is to reuse some of the stuff that's been done in the past. So, for example, we were trying to reuse a mechanic. I forget what it was off the top of my head, but we had done it years ago, and we could go back and use this. And I started digging into the back end of it, and I'm like, what jerk wrote this garbage? And well, I did, like 12 years ago or something like that. So things change, systems kind of evolve, implementations, while relatively similar, they do kind of evolve in terms of like best practices and stuff like that. Also, too, we have to be really mindful of the fact that the game has been in production for nearly 3 decades. So there's a fun story related to that where, if you recall, recently on production, we had to hot fix an issue where folks were able to dye their Triton pets different colors.
Yep.
Yeah, and it turns out that when it came to dye tubs, there was never a check to make sure that what you were targeting was not like creature. There was always just this assumption that that wouldn't happen. Well, we finally got to the point where it did. So for a hot minute there, folks were running around with some really uniquely colored Tritons, which then led us to be like, well, we're definitely going to have to put in Triton treats because everybody really enjoyed it. But you know, sometimes there are unexpected consequences and unexpected outcomes when it comes to trying to reuse things. Another example could be like things like the invasions that we did a couple times over the past few years, where you have different ranks of mobs that show up, like generals, lieutenants, etc., etc. We always hear like, oh, just turn this thing back on. The problem with just turning it back on is a lot of times...
Hold on 1 second, Chironics. Everyone gather around me. We're going to take a class photo with the new Legacy community who showed up for Solon. Back to you, Chironics.
Sure. So, you know, it's like when we turn it on, we have to implement and test whatever updates and changes are required for the state of the game at that time. And oftentimes, like I just described, relatively innocuous changes end up having big consequences. So even though it is reusing an existing system or reusing an existing asset, we still have to do the back-end work to make sure it still works, because the game is constantly changing. And then it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where like once you put players involved, it's like, if any of you who are in game development probably heard of the door problem, right? Like, give a door to QA and they try to smash it down with a hammer instead of opening it with a door, give it to a player, and the player's like, what door? They're somewhere else over on the other side of the game world because they completely ignored what you thought they were going to do. So it's definitely a challenge, but fortunately we've been doing this a while, so we kind of know what pitfalls to try to look out for. But as you saw, sometimes we don't catch them all.
No, much appreciated. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have an answer for Parallax here in the Stygian Abyss from Just Happy Trees. Most favorite is the Orc Champion because of what it means for those who are on the narrative path, especially when someone there needs help completing it and the whole shard shows up to help them get credit. That's actually a really good answer. I like that. Garthok. Good old Garthok.
Does anybody know who Garthok is from?
No.
No, the Garthok, yes.
Oh, you do? Slurms. What's that, Slurms? Tell us what Garthok is.
Boneheads. One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yes.
Isn't that
Saturday Night Skid, isn't it?
Yes. Coneheads.
Hey, we got some culture vultures here. All right. Anyone else? Legendary foes. Come on. We got Rex. Come on, man. You always have a strong opinion about these things. Let's get a Rex story on legendary foes.
Titans up.
Okay, we'll head over
Titans
to Titan
up.
next.
That's my story.
Oh, come on. It can't be the only story. Can we get a to Titan?
What was the question?
Favorite legendary foe and why?
Oh, it's got to be Valara because she's a hooer. And no matter how much I poke her, she never pays me.
Rex. Oh my god.
And if you want to know what I got this time, chlamydia.
All right, Rex. Now I remember why I muted you a few weeks ago.
That is her payment, Rex.
That's great. Thank you, Rex. Junior.
She's
Junior.
my new favorite now because she gave me the nightmare.
Are y'all coming to Titan? Because I'm holding them by myself right now.
We're on our way. Junior, your thoughts about a favorite legendary foe?
Ooh, there's a lot of spiders.
my favorite legendary foe is the Manticore.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time sitting still, and the Manticore, you have to watch where you're moving, so it requires you to not sit still. Big fan of that fight. It's also just very like engaging and lots of things going on. I really like it.
Joker, you're kind of a newish player. You've been part of this journey with us. You know, obviously, you're a casual player. You show up for the Wyvern's Lair and for myself as a content creator and a friend. But you know, in your experience, what are some of the standout? What is the standout legendary foe encounter for you?
I'd have to say the biggest standout is probably Valara, to be honest. And the reason I think so my thing with the legendary foes, and it's no shade at them in general, is they're kind of a one-trick pony. Like, they don't have a lot to them. Valara does. Like, you have to manage her portals and damage to her.
Mini tricks. She's turned mini tricks.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like, you have to sit there and you have to be like, okay, we gotta kill portals, we gotta also do damage, we can kill portals. And then you get a little bit of that with Manticore. I like the Manticore fight because of its difficulty. And because they swap in and out, so there's a little bit of agency there. But then you've got some of the other ones where they're just kind of like damage sponges. There's not much to them. And like I said, it's not a shade, that's just how I perceive it. But I think Valara, even though I don't like her as much, and that's not just because I just don't like her, but I like her fight because I feel like it's the one that has the most meat to it.
That's actually a really good answer, Joker. And I very much do like the Valar encounter, because if you aren't mindful of the mechanics and you just sort of allow Valara to endlessly call forth those portals, you can find yourself getting overwhelmed and getting to a point where you can't actually complete the encounter because of the chaos that can ensue if you're not managing those portals. That's sort of very unique to the Valar encounter. You don't really experience with the other legendary foes. So that's a really good call out.
I tend to like bosses and boss encounters that have, they don't have to have like multi stages to them, but just multiple things that you got to balance at once, because I feel like it makes the encounter where people have to, they can't just like go on autopilot. They have to actually make sure they're doing what they need to do. It doesn't have to be super hard, but like, oh yeah, I need to make sure I'm killing portals, or oh yeah, I need to make sure I'm doing this. It just gives you that extra little bit of agency that engages you in the fight versus I can just show up like if you show up for Titan Weave or Sullen, they're great fights. I like the bosses, I love them a lot, but they don't have the depth that I think you get from a Valara.
Can I ask, Parallax, was that sort of intentional on the part of you and the team to actually have sort of like various tiers of challenge when it comes to legendary foes in the first season?
Yeah, absolutely. That is an intended design that some of them are meant to be easier than others, and obviously we don't want any that are pure cakewalks. You can stand there AFK and not have any threats. Some of them will most likely be redesigned for Season 2. Some of the difficulty, that'll have a better look at how players are doing them. But yeah, there's definitely a difficulty tier that goes into designing them, as you guys have noticed. The funny story about Valara encounter, I touched on this briefly in the last podcast we did with you, but we kind of threw the original core of the sorceress into the game from production, and she was very underwhelming. And that whole portal mechanic that works so well, that was essentially created in one day of just, okay, we need to do something with Valar, what can we do? Let's repurpose this portal mechanic from the narrative into the Valar encounter, and it worked extremely well. I remember the first time I saw the beta players go into Valar after that change and just get absolutely wrecked because they did not care about the portals, like you said, and then there was 50 nightmares running around. It was quite entertaining.
Yeah, and like I said, I could tell there was mentally I can tell that there was definitely a stage, because even Valara, as long as you mind your P's and Q's and you do the portals, she's not too terrible. But then you go to like Crimson, you're not tanking Crimson by yourself because of just everything involving Crimson. just the amount of damage he outputs. So, yeah, like you can definitely see there's tiers, and I think you guys did a great job about that. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I really like Valara, is because of the fact that there's just a lot of player agency involved in the fight, and I think that's really good.
Look at that Joker Soul Dragon getting his dev talk on. I want to.
I think another piece with Valara. Oh, okay.
Hold on one second, Tori. We're going to go right to you. But I do want to welcome 2 knights that recently joined us. We here at the Wyvern's Lair, we accommodate players as far as what they're comfortable with. We do have several members of our guild who choose to remain off mic, and I want to make sure that they're not forgotten about or acknowledged. I want to welcome Knight Elroy, who's done such a great job in helping Poison Ivy and myself, along with John here and Zeke, decorate our guild tower, and of course, just a standout guild member. I also want to welcome Knight John, who's done more than really arguably anyone else in recent times to help push us in the guild prestige system. He's been working hard on behalf of the guild. If you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves in the guild chat, I'd be very grateful, and I'll be sure to read it out for the developers and everyone else here on stream. Over to you, Tori.
Hi. Another thing that I like with Valara is also the piece of mana draining. And so you're sitting there barely keeping tabs up on your pet if you're a tamer, or healing other people, and then mana drain, and suddenly you can't do anything. It's like, which is yet another piece, like, watch out for those currents running along the floor.
Yeah, that's actually another really good call out for the Valara fight that I find entertaining. It's frustrating, but it's entertaining for sure.
Funny story about that effect, the floor cracking thing that she does. When the original dev that implemented that was Mike Moore, also known as Vex or Phoenix, and the first time he demoed it, there was no limit to the range.
Oh shit!
So the little cracks ended up going everywhere without stopping until they hit the server line, and it ended up crashing our development shard. And you're like, oh, probably need to put a limit on that. And because he had her set up in the little dungeon area that she's in, and what was happening was the cracks were stopping when they would hit an impassable object. And then for some reason we spawned one like in Green Acres or something like that, and then we're like, oh wait, there's no check for it to stop. And then eventually the whole shard just came crashing down.
Valara and her ley
If
lines.
anybody has explosives, Manticore is reset.
Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and
I
read
don't
this.
have any. So.
Well, no, I'm saying. Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Does anyone here have bombs for the Manticore? And if not, then we got to farm them up.
Yeah, that's it.
If we're doing Manticore, I need to swap out
on
my other fighter.
We're gonna go do Manti. Several of us are still here at the entrance to Titan. Poison Ivy, where do you want us?
Clodia has the bombs.
Okay, excellent. So we just gotta make our way to Papua. Hey, Suzanne, Argenbarger, Shemfire, you're doing a great job keeping up with us. I'm going to go ahead and read this out for Elroy. I'm Elroy, I'm a warrior tamer build, and I previously played Ultima Online from 2002 to 2004 around the Age of Shadows expansion. Appreciate that, Elroy. John, we're waiting for you to throw down your introduction in the guild chat, if you want to, of course.
We gotta find Shadowfire another horse.
My poor ShamWow.
ShamWow, we can get you another ShamWow. Just ask WoW as the last one. Do you need help finding the? Here, I'll take you guys to the animal person. Follow me. And while you guys are following me, Crispy, I'd like to hear your thoughts about your favorite legendary foe encounter. If you can get to your mic, Crispy. All right. Well, we're waiting for Crispy. Orc, you've played this quite a bit. I'm curious as to your legendary foe encounter and why. Yep, right over here. You're gonna talk to who is it here? Yep, the guild master here, Wendy. Go ahead and buy yourself a horse. There you go.
Mine's actually Manicore, even though it's never given me the damn feathers. But it's an interesting fight. like with the tornadoes and the rock slides and the bleed mechanic, where if it's one of those you actually have to have multiple people that know what they're doing, or they're not doable basically. Man, I like the different aspects of the mechanics.
And well said, Orc.
I have to ask, who built this trail of water barrels to the manticores? This is kind of ingenious.
I don't know who did that.
not
Ivy,
sure.
do you have any?
I don't know, but blessings on his head, or her head, or
Yeah,
their
he's
head.
an unsung hero of the shard.
Whoever
No
that
one
person is.
It was a few people who did it at the very beginning when people kept asking, "Where is it? Where is it?"
Right.
And getting lost.
Is it in Rec Room?
Elroy says, didn't we figure it was Pocted?
Recdu.
Recdu, yeah.
RECDU.
Pocted is a great culprit for the barrel trail here. He actually created a bit of a graffiti outside our guild tower a few months ago saying farts in water barrels. So, yeah, I'd see anyone that determined to create...
I love him.
Yeah, isn't he great? Anyone that determined to create a farts water barrel sign outside of our guild tower probably had the same wherewithal to build this too. So it could be
Follow
Pocted.
me, Suzanne. This is
Okay.
Jack.
Yeah.
Pocted says, Vex is the first white bell I got from back in 2000. And they're in the Stygian Abyss. Pocted, you're suspect number 1 for these water barrels. Crispy, did you make it to your mic? Let me know. Oh,
They haven't opened it up yet, Zeke, so you guys have time.
thanks for letting us know, Tori.
Yeah, Claudia was on the way. You went
Was the
the
group
wrong
hanging
place.
Oh, Argenbarger and Shemfire, where are you folks?
We were back
I
at
went
the
to
Moon
get a
Gate.
horse. Yeah.
Yeah, we're back at the Moon Gate.
Ooh, is anyone able to really quickly fetch them? Or should they just stay there for the time being?
I can run back with Slurms.
Thank you, Slurms.
Because I'm parked there with Scruffy already.
Zeke, could you please tell Claudia to hang off on the bombs? We're just gathering a few more people.
Sure, I'm not there yet, though.
Well, in the world chat. Whoever can reach the world chat, I'd appreciate it.
Claudia's with me at Ice, so it'll be a minute.
Okay.
Oh, Ice was up?
Yeah, I said it in chat and I said it in guild.
Whoops.
Missed that.
And I said it in here in Discord too.
Then
I didn't hear you say
we
that,
only have ourselves to blame then, Ivy.
Hey, Wyvern, sorry, I'm using AirPods, right? I have to keep recharging them. So,
There you are.
That's why yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Favorite legendary foe encounter, Crispy, and why?
It has to be Iceman, because I'm really lazy. No. Manticore, I think everyone loves Manticore, right? It's just so good. It's the best boss on production or New Legacy, it's just great.
Cheers, Crispy. Okay, you've been playing New Legacy for a little while. What about yourself?
Ooh, should we leave our horses out here like this? I just
Yeah,
remembered
I would
that.
say leave your horses outside, Suzanne. Good idea. Oh, I got a big crowd here in front of Manticore.
What's Ice at?
Ice is at 48%.
Are Parallax and Chironics with you folks at Ice?
We are at the Manticore Rocks right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, there you are. Dudley and Gideon.
Not Dudley and Do Right?
And the Mounties.
Shemfire.
They've got the Mounties with them.
Shaman Fire, I'm curious, obviously you and Argenbarger are completely brand new to Ultima Online. And you've seen a little bit of the Legendary Foe encounter system. Any standouts for yourself, Shaman Fire, as a new player?
It's all really new. I was just having trouble with the spiders back there, so.
Yeah. Well, also, we're going in really heavy with this group. We almost outnumber the enemies, so it's very chaotic.
Yeah, it takes a while. Once you spend some time with the game, the chaos, these encounters become a little bit more understandable.
Is there a secret to targeting enemies that are covered up by friendlies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Control Shift and then close out their nameplates until you get to the nameplate you want.
Control
Right.
Shift.
Oh, look at that. That's a whole new universe.
Nice. Yeah.
Control Shift.
Yeah. Control Shift is totally new to me. Nice.
Myth, did you get that gate? Are you with us?
Yeah, the gate. Let's go.
The better way, guys, would be set a hotkey up which says target nearest kind of thing. So you don't have to think about anything. You just press the hotkey and it's target the nearest hostile, basically.
Depends on what client they're using, doesn't it? Pocket says
Pretty much any
you can make a macro for it.
Even on the web client?
Every client.
Yeah. Okay.
But nearest isn't always what you want to target either, so you got to be careful with it.
Yeah, because it will probably be like an EV or something, but it's pretty reliable to just be like target nearest,
Myth, did you get the help getting down to the Manticore? Have you been to the Manticore yet?
I have not. I'm at the bank now. I got the gate. Do I go north or south?
Go look for the water barrels and follow the water barrel trail in Papua. Just outside the, it should be just outside the hut you come through.
Did you guys actually lay water barrels all the way there?
Someone did, and apparently it wasn't Pocketed. He says, I did not do this Manti route, though. So,
That's really impressive.
I know. Whoever took on that project, we owe them a gold coin.
We owe them some.
Okay, so I took Soul into ice, and I just got the Beastie and White Worms.
Okay.
I'm going out, right? I'm leaving now and going to play the lottery.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
That's 2 Beastries I've gotten tonight.
What? Hey! Congratulations, Zeke. I didn't realize you got another one.
Would you?
Yeah, I
Which
got
one
the
did you
Nightmare
get
one earlier.
Yep. What'd you get now?
The Beastry and White Worms.
Ah.
On Solon.
That's why you want to go down to the casino?
I gotta go play the lottery. I'll be back later.
Hey, I take that luck and run with it too. Argenbarger, you Parallax and Chironics, I'll never forget Argenbarger being brand new to UO and taking his blacksmith crafter down to Crimson with us and mining the wall while we were fighting Crimson. What was one of your...
Follow my heart.
What's been one of your standout sort of like legendary foes so far, Argenbarger, and why?
I do enjoy Crimson. It's very impressive. And just having the horde there to stand on and feel cool after you kill them. A lot of the I also like I'm a fan of spiders actually, so I was really happy to with the one we just did. A spider aficionado.
We're coming up on our final hour here. I know Chironics, said that he could go for as long as we need to, but they both have busy work lives over a broadsword, and I'm sure, when the weekend comes around, both Parallax and Chironics here, prize their rest. So we'll have one more hour with the developers here, and indeed with the Wyvern's Lair and our friends before we call it a session. But so far, this has been really fun, and I want to thank everyone for coming by, including, of course, our guests here, Chironics and Parallax.
Yeah. It's been going fast.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having a good time.
That's right.
So Chironix, going back to you, in terms of your duties as a producer, what's been what's been most enjoyable for you as far as contributing to a new legacy, especially in terms of supporting the rest of the team? Like, yeah, that's my question.
That's a really good question. You know, we're a small team, which I think everybody knows at this point. We're a very close-knit small team, so there's a lot of cross-pollination that goes on, and we've always had an open forum where, you know, just because you may be an artist on the team, that doesn't mean you can't contribute to the blue sky sessions for the content that goes in. For example, a lot of what's coming down the pike in production, what you've seen on New Legacy, was really just a blue sky session that we went through with the team, and it's literally say whatever you want and we kind of see what sticks. So in that sense, you know, there's always been a lot of opportunity to have a hand in all aspects. The difference now, for me at least, is that I get to. I'm a big proponent of the kind of idiom that a rising tide raises all ships. So I don't do as much design work as I used to. It's all falling on Nick's shoulders now. He's doing a tremendous job with it. But what I primarily try to do is facilitate as much as I can and allow the experts and allow the incredibly talented team that we have to be the best versions of themselves. Whether that is making sure that they have the necessary tools to do that. So, you know, if it's a particular resource that they need, then, you know, it's my responsibility to go and get them that. And also trying to get them to be the best versions of themselves, you know, offer alternative suggestions, offer different perspectives, try to think about it from the vision of the player. There's an old design philosophy that's called user-centered design that I've always been a big fan of, so I kind of try and look at it from the lens of a player. And then also keep in mind, you know, what the 10,000 foot view is of what our overall design goals are and development goals, and kind of where we need to take the game so that we can keep it healthy and keep providing these amazing experiences for you guys. And then every now and again, I'll be able to dip my hands back. I still do a fair amount of the seasonal stuff. I try to take as much off Nick's plate as I can. So a lot of the seasonal stuff I still get to do. And it's a little more efficient that way anyway, because I wrote a lot of those systems back in the day. So still keeps my skill sharp too, so I don't completely forget how to write or scripting code.
I really like that that answer, Chironix. I think that's really ultimately what a good producer aspires to be for the team. Sort of the fuel that allows them to be more efficient and faster, and keep them going. And I also especially like the fact that you do encourage creative input and feedback throughout the team. Many of the Wyvern's Lair here, who's been following myself and gaming with me for a while, knows that, you know, I had a stint in the game industry as well. And while I didn't work on the project directly, we had some of our coworkers working on a co-dev for Obsidian on Avowed, and they would the leads would actually put out a call when it came to designing the area hubs for Avowed throughout the entire studio team. So they'd say, we're working on Shatterscarp, and we'd love to get feedback from our 300 members on, you know, points of interest, possible, you know, stories, secrets, what have you, to populate that area in terms of content, which I thought I love that idea of the lead sourcing feedback from, you know, a great variety of minds that, you know, are really dedicated to thinking of the game, if you will.
Absolutely, and I think you touch on a good point there, because I've been part of creative endeavors in the past where, you know, the kind of meat of the design philosophy and everything has been held close to the chest in a couple of. What ends up happening is usually you don't get the best product. So I really like having the kind of open forum that we have, and you know, it kind of goes back to what you said before. You know, everybody's part of this, not just us as the devs. It's also part of the community and the feedback that we get from you guys, and why I think it's so important that we do things like this. Yeah, I live a pretty dull life these days, so spending some time with you folks on a Friday evening is tickling at my heartstrings and bringing the nostalgia back to when I was playing UO, probably a lot more than my parents would play.
I will say, please pull bars where it makes sense. Please especially look out for our new players like Argenbarger and Shaman Fire and Myth for that matter. Fire Shaman, Argenbarger, and PK Action Barbie. Watch out for their health bars, please. And good luck on the Manticore encounter. We're gonna keep voice chat a little bit quieter for the Manticore because there's so much involved. So let's focus on getting through Manticore and Parallax's, you know, torturous encounter that he's designed, and then we'll pop back in for a longer conversation with devs.
If you let us die, you're all getting banned.
Yeah, pull their bars too, for that matter. Don't let them go without deals.
How do you put that script on us that won't let us die, dude?
They definitely don't have that script. I'm healing Parallax right now.
Weren't we going to let them die to loot them?
Epic. Heals on Gideon. Heals on Gideon.
Yeah, how else are we supposed to get that new armor? Come on.
This is not a friendly to horses encounter for sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Gideon's meleeing with me. Okay. Oh, I see Dudley too. Okay, got Dudley's bars. There's been a couple of times when I've gotten to this encounter without bandages with John here. Very embarrassing. Tay too, for that matter. Force this target. Heals on William. Is Tor still the target?
No.
Eureka?
No! Heals on Suzanne.
Heals on Suzanne, please.
Yes.
What's that, Orc?
You go through a lot of bandages in this fight.
Oh, you do.
Because you gotta heal the bleed and then heal again.
Torst? Yep, Torst the target.
Heard of buttered toast, but not battered toast.
Oh.
Funny, but bad.
Zeke bad? Or not quite that bad?
Oh, nowhere near
Yeah,
Zeke bad.
he's got work to do yet.
Yeah, really.
I'm a mere student.
I'm stuck.
Where are you? Is that Shaman Fire?
Watch the tornado.
Tornado's in? Okay.
Yeah, that's an effect. We can become unable to run. Oh no, you died.
I died.
I was just saying I hear people dying around me. Res for Fire Shaman. Who has the res? Who has the res for Fire Shaman? Let me know if you're getting some help, Shaman Fire.
Okay.
You gotta enter war mode as a ghost.
Oh yeah, enter war mode. We can see you.
Ah.
And now they're both dead.
Target's Torst.
Both of them.
You need help, Zeke?
And I said they're both down.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Help with Shaman Fire.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's focus down Torst. Eureka's way ahead.
Oh no!
Res for Tori. Please call it if you can.
I'm down south.
Okay,
Jack's got her.
thank you, Jack. Let's focus on Torst. Torst. Eureka's way ahead in terms. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Torst is the target. Let's knock Torst down a little bit and then focus on Eureka.
Oh, I'm not seeing Tori.
I'm sorry.
All right. They're kind of both even. Good job, team.
Alright, that's Tori.
Well done, Jack. Switching to Eureka.
Thank you.
Watch out.
Switch back to Torst. Oh, they're both even. Yep. Just keep going. You should hopefully take them down both at the same time and avoid that berserk mechanic, Parallax. So sadistically.
I don't have any bandages.
Oh, I got you. Come to me.
Well done, team.
Ah, I need to open my corpse, that's why.
Got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can grab your corpse, you can dress up again.
Oh. Heals on William, please.
Oh boy.
I got trapped in the rocks with the Manticore.
Heals on Suzanne. Whoa, Torst is down.
Yep.
Up, Jack's down.
Ooh, everyone's. Yep. Berserk time. Dev's almost down.
Where are you?
I'm up north.
Uh-oh.
There
Parallax,
seems to be a lot of
Parallax
action
is down.
south.
Quick, loot his body. Good time. Parallax, come north for a res.
Oh dear
I see
God.
you.
Too bad we don't have Shiv. One person could res them all.
Yay, we did it.
Yay.
Congratulations,
Yay.
team. That was quite the nail biter. All right, let's all get rezzed up and brushed off. Heroic effort. Congrats, Parallax and Chironics for getting through the Manticore with us. Hey,
The effort.
to what you guys are saying, I'm curious. You know, here we are. You've come out to join in with the new Legacy community and our guild, the Wyvern's Lair and Friends. I'm curious, Chironics and Parallax, what is one standout memory that you both have from your time as players in a guild? It could be funny, it could be any sort of standout memory that you might have from that chapter of lives with the game, beginning with Parallax here.
I'll go back to like total noob level, and the first time I realized you could actually freely attack guild members, and I was just messing around and went to war mode and started attacking a guildie and killed them, and they were just like, "What the heck?" That was quite a memorable moment.
My horse disappeared.
How about you, Chironics?
Let's see. I was in a guild on my regular play chart, which I won't mention, but for a long time, and it was very formative years of my life. So I had a lot of really good memories. But I think the most memorable would be when I first met someone who was in that guild, and they had a title, and they like a guild title, but I didn't know what a guild title was because I was a complete noob back then. And they told me what they did, like their title, and I assumed that, like, that's what they did in the real world. And I was like, wow, this person who is of, like, esteemed political stature plays this video game. That's so cool. You know, I think the title was probably something like Governor or something like that. Like, wow, the Governor plays UO. And then I learned what guild titles were, but yeah, that was pretty memorable.
Oh gosh, I can imagine. It could be confusing. You're the governor of, and you're playing this game. Yeah. I wanna excitedly share with you all. I didn't get Manticore feathers, but I did get something cool related to Publish 2. I got myself the Time-Worn Urn of Forgotten Kings. I'm excited to have it. All to know. Did anyone get anything good off this Manticore encounter, aside from death robes?
I lost my horse. I left it outside too.
Yeah, I don't know quite what might have happened. Oh, I think what happened is you left your horse inside this area of the map, Suzanne. If you do, it gets teleported into the encounter with you. So you actually have to leave your horse or your mount in like that small little cave or just outside the cave entrance. I did the same mistake too, once upon a time. All right, since we're on the topic of Publish 2 for New Legacy, let's quickly check in with everyone and find out what you're most excited about as a player for Publish 2. Starting with Zeke here.
I'm with Junior on the new worms.
The
They
draw
look
worms?
really exciting. From what I've seen, somebody took some screenshots after animal luring them, and they look very decent. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, Epic Loot Gaming, are you heading out?
Yeah, I got a little bit of celebratory stuff to do tonight, if you will.
That's right, you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I will be recovering tomorrow and streaming on Sunday.
All right. Epic, before you head out, very quickly, what are you most looking forward to with Publish 2 for New Legacy? And any last words for us before you head out to celebrate a well-deserved celebration with friends out there in Montana?
You know, I'm actually starting to look forward to the museum archival system and, you know, collecting all the different antiquities and stuff. It's kind of neat to get that. I got my first one tonight, and it was rather exciting for me. So I thought it was neat. And as far as words of advice, you know, just do yourself a favor, keep a cool head, go with the flow, and enjoy life, because you only get this one. And I think the kids still say it, YOLO.
YOLO. Epic Loot Gaming. Layersins, friends and supporters of Ultima Online, thank you so much for everything you do. Epic, go out and have an epic celebration with your friends, and I look forward to catching your next stream over on your Twitch channel, my friend.
I'll see y'all Sunday. Take it easy.
See you Sunday. All right, Junior, yourself. I know you're hard in the paint for Drow Worms, but after Drow Worms, what's next for you?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Fair. Totally focused on the Drow Worm quest, huh?
That is correct.
Gotcha. Slurms.
I'm it.
Oh, go ahead, Junior. You're saying?
Oh no, I'm at 756 points. So we'll find out soon.
We'll find out soon. Exactly. Slurms, how about yourself?
What's the question? Sorry.
What are you most excited for in Publish 2?
Oh, Pub 2. Honestly, I'm really excited about the dungeon. One of the things that I really liked coming back to New Legacy was seeing Manticore and like the multi-steps, and like, oh man, you know, like they're really developing this into more of like the action RPG kind of style that I really enjoy. So seeing the progressional dungeon, I'm super stoked about. I think I am, you know, waiting with bated breath. Just, it sounds awesome. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah, if I could throw in my own 2 cents, I think I'm most excited for the Forsaken Bloodline dungeon myself. I see what I'm really excited about it is because it's just going to expand the options of what we can do whenever we log in. There'll be the legendary foes and, of course, progressing and trying to clear that dungeon. So that there's a lot to look forward to. Plus, of course, all the great rewards that come with trying to clear the dungeon. How about yourself, Poison Ivy?
Okay. Pet. I want all the pets. And I want a new cloak because I'm tired of having to be itchy. Is there a new cloak out here somewhere? I've got fleas so bad.
Hey, I've been happily
I can give you
oh, go ahead, Parallax.
Sorry. Give you a little spoiler. There are several new cloaks on the new content once you unlock the dungeon. So you have that to look forward to.
I was gonna say I either need some topical flea treatment or a new cape. One of the two.
How about you, Rex?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to the new hidden gunfighter class, who will come with the Colt 45s and the Henry rifle and the Frankenhooker quest line.
Can't forget about the Frankenhooker quest line. I will say, you know, as much of a jokester Rex is here, he's a very astute player, smart man. And one of the things that I remember from our podcast discussion regarding how to represent a player's legacy, we're having this debate, you know, and I was saying the devs need to give us a +5 flaming holy Avenger, and you and Crispy were adamantly against it, and I think the developers kind of you were kind of in that line of thought with the developers as far as these heirloom items that sort of speak to our legacy. So it was interesting to see when I was reading the Publish 2 patch notes to sort of connect back to where you and Crispy were as far as how to represent our player legacy somehow. So yeah, it was just kind of... Greg,
I was firmly against the +5 Holy Avenger, if you remember.
You were.
Because the whole idea of, let me get a super weapon that I can use, and then the season's over and it'll be really a capstone thing. I'm like, no, what those guys who really love it are going to want is trophies and stuff that they can build their legacy on. I mean, so yeah, I was totally against your idea of a tac nuke.
Well, they seem to have agreed with you with what you call the Chotskis, and what was it? I forget the word.
Tchotchkes. Tchotchkes.
Yeah. And could you tell us
a knick-knack?
The knickknacks, yes.
A whatnot.
A whatnot. Could you tell us a little bit about what inspired the heirloom item system, Parallax, for Publish 2? Because I'm excited for it, and I want to collect all 26.
Yeah, that was a way to expand your legacy and new legacy, obviously. There's been a lot of questions from players, what's the point of the surname, what's the point of the house name, and we've had the legacy sash, the legacy journal, and the achievements and that in the game, but we'd always had plans to expand that system out, and the heirlooms was part of that. The idea is that it's remnants of either, a former version of the shard or your past characters, if you will. I mean, we're in season 1 right now, so you have to use some imagination there, but just basically remnants of your house name as stuff for you to collect that's hopefully meaningful to you. The whole unique one-of-one system was kind of fun to create, and they are, when I say they're true one-of-ones, if you get the drop and you lose it or you don't loot it, you will never see that drop again, so make sure you check for your heirlooms.
Got you.
Yeah, I got an heirloom today, a dagger belt.
Hey, congratulations, Zeke. So I had to ask, so the heirloom items, they will not automatically drop in your backpack. You do have to check the mob container for it.
So I can clarify on heirlooms. From legendary foes, they will drop to your backpack, because then other people would be able to take your own heirlooms. However, with treasure chests, they will go into the treasure chest of the person that dug the chest. So if you're doing it with a group, make sure you trust your group members, I guess, because someone could grab your heirloom. But otherwise, they will go to your backpack.
Okay, so it's not just the digger. It could be somebody else that's in the party's heirloom?
Oh, no, the heirloom will only be created for the digger only.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
But someone could take your heirloom out of the
if
chest.
they're party, they could take it out, right? Got that. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because of the shared loot system with treasure chests.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, how do you go back? It was in Recru or Recru?
In
Rexu.
Rexu.
How do you spell that, please?
RECSU.
RECXU.
S as
like in Sam.
SU.
Or like in Susan.
Okay.
Suzanne, by the way, you're doing a great job keeping up with us. I'm so impressed.
I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? You're doing a great job.
Apologize. You're fine.
You're fine. Okay, Ivy, I think several of us are here at the Moonglow Moongate, and we got about 40 minutes left on the session. Would we be okay to run some treasure hunts, Junior?
Yeah.
All right. In that case, Ivy, could you open up a gate to the guild tower for now? We'll all get together there and then push on for some treasure maps.
And remember, steal their heirloom.
Are you?
Steal their
Are you at Moonglow?
We're at Moonglow right now.
Well, the way to take care of that is to not party them.
There's the Moongate. Step through.
Right? Because if you're not partied, you can't. It's not shared loot, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
It was a joke, but
I know.
Yeah.
No, I was. That was my response to the joke. Oh, I'll just block them.
All right.
this dumbass.
And so, are we at? We are at the guild,
Guild
house,
Tower.
Or are we at Moonglow?
The guild
Right,
tower,
okay.
Junior.
So, I'm going to run out to the first map and send a gate, unless everyone would prefer to run with me.
No, just send us a gate when you can. I think that'll be less chaotic.
All right.
Suzanne, are you making your way to Moonglow?
I'm in Moonglow. I'm gonna try to buy a horse.
Argenbarger and Shamfire, where are you folks?
We were actually still recovering her corpse stuff. We're about to recall to the guild tower now.
Okay. Is anyone else needing to link up with us at the guild tower?
Can't teleport from here.
Where are you?
We took the rope out of the Manicore arena.
You need to leave the
Yeah,
cave.
you can't.
You need to leave
Yeah, you
Papua.
can't be NT2A to.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just horseless, so it's taking a bit.
Yeah, take your time. We'll get you with us eventually.
Do what everyone else does. Use that help bar to. I'm stuck.
Now, the
I'm
arrow.
gonna take off, guys. Thanks for letting me be in here and hang out with you guys. And
Layers and Joker Soul Dragon, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for what you added to the conversation this evening, Joker. Always a pleasure.
I don't know if I added anything, but
You did. Take it easy, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
I'm gonna call it a night too. Okay.
Suzanne, I hope you had fun, and once again, you are an incredibly treasured member of the Wyvern's Lair community. I'm so glad you're adventuring with us in Ultima Online. Did you have fun tonight?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right.
No.
We'll see you for the next one, okay?
Okay.
You take it easy.
All right. Thank you.
I saying no to that platinum Drake, not to what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You guys have me addicted again.
Ah.
I'm stuck.
Glad to hear that, myth.
Alright, I've got a gate incoming.
Okay, thanks, Junior.
Oh, not that way.
Ah, another platinum break.
Another platinum Drake.
Okay, let's go through.
Wait, this might be the way actually.
Zeke, we got so many people on the Guild Adventure this evening. I'm wondering how we should handle antiquities.
Well,
It's just 4 per normally per chest, so I think just collect to the main. Whoever donated the map. So if it's his map, let him keep them.
For this,
Yeah,
to
whoever
keep
did the map.
things simple for this Guild Adventure, that's what we're going to do. But next time around, we're going to do a roll-off and create a hierarchy of looters. But I don't think we're going to have the time. We'll slow things down if we try and create that priority list. So go ahead and just go ahead and claim everything, Junior. Work towards your draw worm. We'll help you out.
It must be this way then.
Alright, so it's going to be somewhere around here, so I'm going to start digging.
How many antiquities do you need for the
You might
drought?
want to move away from him a little.
Hey guys, have to jump off for a little bit. I'll be back though.
Myth, pleasure. Found it?
So how many
It's right in front of the dock, so right where there's like 4 Ember Wings.
Yep. Might want to move those out of the way a little.
Orc, I believe it's very many. That's a question for Junior. How many antiquities do you need for a draw worm? Is that your question, Orc?
That is correct.
I haven't really mapped it out entirely. Been too focused on getting them. But I can say I'm at 760 points-ish, and I've spent probably 10 hours total doing maps since the publish drop.
Gotcha.
So
that's not horrible, actually.
so when you do the deeds, when you deed the item, you get a point for the deed. Take the quest that's the poster. Once you get 20, turn in 20 deeds, then you also get an additional, I think it's 20 points. And the poster's repeatable quest. When you drop the item in the chest, you also get from 1 to 5 points depending on the quality of the item. So exquisite is 5 points. Let's see, weathered was 1 point. Aged was 2 points. Remarkable was 3, and that's all I've got so far. So you get additional points for dropping the item. You get a point for the deed. You get extra points for 20 deeds if you take the quest, and then, like I said, you could double click the poster again and get more points.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when I'm going to have time to do it all.
Don't worry, Orc. So actually, that was something I was going to talk about on the the stream today, because I'm sure there are production players who are watching what's happening in Publish 2 and thinking about whether they should jump in, or perhaps returning players who have been hearing news about what's happening on New Legacy and Ultima Online in general recently. And like you, Orc, I got a really busy life. I'm only able to get into this game that gives me so much rest and relaxation, a few times per week for a few hours. So I'm frequently, kind of at the bottom tier of the guild in terms of our guild progression, which is kind of a good gauge of your overall activity on New Legacy. And over the last several months, I'm now basically, I think as of tonight, if I take a look at my player information here, I believe that I'm at, basically knocking on the door of 200 legendary foe points, minus the 100 I spent on a Dragon Bestiary for the Ember Wing here, which Ivy helped me get. So basically that means that even I, as a casual player, can casually play New Legacy, and it won't happen overnight, but certainly within the confines of the season, I can get the very best thing you can work towards on the Shard. And so I commend. I appreciate what you guys were able to do with that. Parallax and Chironics in the way of creating like a really fun playing field for a whole range of players. Those that can play the game quite a bit, and those that, like myself, can only play a few times per week. So it was masterfully done. Like I know some people kind of champ at the bit the fact that we're capped on legendary foe points at 20 per week if you're at the top, but it kind of keeps an even playing field, I think, for everyone. And encourages healthy player behavior, I hope.
And plus now with the new systems from this publish, you'll be able to earn points on different things too. So.
Yeah.
I think that the diversity now will stop a lot of the there's not enough things kinda. So I think that it was brilliant to introduce it. I think it was truly great.
So I've put all of the items from the chest in this bag here on the dock. So if anyone feels the need to look through it, you're welcome to any of the items.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Junior.
Whoever made this water barrel trail is awesome.
We also have the gold, which I'm going to hand off to William if he still wants to do.
Yeah, let's do that guild
something
roll-off. Sure.
with it for the guild roll-off at some point.
That sounds good. Okay. Whatever gold I have, I'll put towards a roll-off. Thank you, Junior. And if anyone wants to donate some gold to the end of Adventure Guild roll-off, we can certainly do that. Pocket says, just want to say, having been engrossed in the Japanese New Legacy Shard the past day or so, it's been refreshing playing again from the start. Looking forward to the Shattering in Season 2.
Right. Our next map is going to be in the swamp south of the start.
Okay.
So I'm going to run out there and send a gate to the guild house again.
I'm curious how you guys were able to balance the foe point system, considering that you didn't have like a large sample of players to test that system out on Parallax. How'd you guys go about that?
Basically, the idea there was to create a catch-up mechanic for players that maybe weren't able to get in on every kill, every time, and also just not force players to essentially play 24/7. Like, you can still play as much as you want to kill the bosses as much as you want for chances to drop, but limiting the foe points to 20 per week, essentially we looked at how many foes there were, how long it took to kill them, how much time it would take to do that, and is that an acceptable amount of time to ask someone to play, to not fall behind, and that's how we kind of came up with that mechanic of balancing the foe points. And obviously that someone that joins the Shard now is going to have a whole lot higher cap and they can kill more than 20 points per week, but once they get to the cap, they'll be caught up with everyone. So we want everyone to have a good time. We don't want people to feel like they have to play 24/7, although if you want to, that's great, the more the merrier. But we don't want to force you to like burn yourself out playing. So that's ultimately where the foe point system came from.
I have a question. You may not know the answer to this yet, but after the Shattering, are you going to keep like the foe point system in place, or implement it later in Season 2? for lack of a better word.
That'll most likely be coming back in some form or the other. Whether it's the exact same implementation or not is to be determined. It could be a delayed release before that system goes into place because everyone will be starting fresh again. Kind of seeing how that's working on the new Legacy Japan server, since that system is active from the get-go and it's a fresh start. So kind of weighing to see how that experience happens on that server. So
I've heard a question
Gideon,
from a lot
you
of.
may want to step aside.
Go ahead,
I had a
Jeff.
question from a lot of people asking.
Poison ivy move.
Go for it,
Has
Zeke.
it been decided if we're going to be able to transfer one or both characters?
I'll leave
If
that one
you-
to Greg.
If you have available space on the destination chart, you'd be able to transfer both characters.
Do they both have to go to the same chart?
Pending engineering.
Okay,
Probably,
well, it's something to think about then.
probably not, but this is the first time we're doing something like this. In theory, it should be fine, but it's going to depend on an engineering validation.
Bleak.
Thank you, Steven. Yeah. So, but in theory, it should be fine. So long as you can have available character slots on the destination shard, and that destination shard is not Siege. We've heard some feedback from some folks that are kind of bummed that you can't transfer to Siege, but unfortunately, it's not possible. Siege was specifically built and designed to be an island unto itself, and we can't change that for this. But all the other valid shards that you can transfer to would be valid destinations, so long as you have character slot available.
Awesome, thank you.
That was a good question, Zeke. Crimson Dragon's up. Junior, would you mind if we jumped on over real quick after, well, assuming, of course, Crimson's still up, after we clear this treasure chest?
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
I
am dead.
I got you. I got a lozzie. If you stand still.
We may have missed this in the rush of the guild adventure, but Poison Ivy very heartwarmingly shared that she has a kitten raised by Chironix. Proud owner, but...
Well, I had him, but then I got poisoned. You have a puppy by Carl.
Is it the little sleeping one with the belly?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are especially adorable.
I have one of those, but I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is.
All right, let us know when you're done with the treasure chest here, Junior.
Yep, I'm just pulling them. Like, I'm just going. So if a bunch of stuff spawns at once, like...
And if I can, I have a production question. I had a conversation it had to be 15 years or so ago with Masana. She was setting something up in Legends, and I suggested that we were able to cut up death robes to make bandages. She thought it was a good idea, but then nothing ever happened about it.
Ivy,
So
can we
something
have a
think
gate
about.
to
I'll
Crimson?
Throw that out here again.
Are you with us here at Crimson? You are. Sorry, you're here at the treasure chest. Can we get a gate to Crimson real quick? Let's see if we can catch that. Gate to Crimson. Everyone through.
Yeah.
It hasn't started yet. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, cut up not treasure maps. Cut up death ropes in order to make
Uh-huh.
bandages is kind of an interesting idea, especially because
Yeah, she thought so too, but
yeah, if you think about it, like, what are you going to use to close wounds? Well, how about this handy death rope you just instantly respawned into the world with?
Exactly.
I guess the only concern we would have with that is when you start looking at like the battle of attrition sort of meta when it comes to the back and forth of like a PvP battle, whoever runs out of like bandages, for example, in a closed kind of battle type situation, we'd have to kind of think about stuff like that. But from a PvM perspective, yeah, certainly doable.
Oh, couldn't it also be used as an infinite gold loop? I mean,
that would be, they're
throwing-
expensive bandages. If you
I mean,
think about
I
the
mean,
insurance of
mods-
dying all the time to get them.
Yeah.
Dedicated
Just
bots.
respawn infinitely.
Elroy says that seems incredibly minuscule, and Donna Sweeten says that was a great question, Zeke. Yeah, I had to follow up on my own, but having my dinosaur moment. Anyway, here comes my death robe generator, aka Crimson Dragon.
Be prepared to hear Fields on William a lot.
Yes. Per tradition. Oh, I actually, I remember my comment and question here. So today was also a very big day for Ultima Online, and the new legacy journey for the developers here. Artemis Fenico showcased the launch of the Japanese version of New Legacy for your Japanese player base. That's great to see. I'm very impressed with Fenico's command of Japanese. I had no idea that she had that, that talent. Can I get heals on William? Heals on William. Okay.
Yeah, she's incredible when it comes to her Japanese language skills. She's been studying Japanese for a very long time.
Very cool. Where did can you tell us a little bit about your commitment to the Japanese player base, as evidenced through the Japanese version of New Legacy, and why there's this push for it now after so many years?
I mean, I think that one of the things that folks forget is that nearly half of our shards, not quite half, but a good portion of them, are Japanese or non-North American shards, right? The global game has always been a global game. Dragon definitely just wrecked my day. But, especially the Japanese player base, they are a very dedicated and important part of our player base, and we wanted to provide them with a New Legacy experience that wasn't subject to the limitations of this New Legacy shard that we're playing on now, not being conveniently located from a performance perspective for games and things like that. So that's a big part of where it came from. We're definitely committed to our Japanese player base. The Japanese DMs are incredibly active and they're super talented when it comes to their events. So we want to continue to support them. There was a bit of a mix-up, dust-up recently when Serena and I did a stream, and a lot of it was about the Japanese New Legacy shard. There was some pretty strong comments made about it. Some I was a little disappointed to see from some people. Like, I didn't like where the conversation went. To be frank, I think we could all, as part of this community, do better than that. But the Japanese players, I think, really appreciated it so much as what they communicated to us. And we were happy to share that information with them, including my terribly limited command of the Japanese language. Beyond being able to say, excuse me, and I ate a hot dog, but it takes years of practice. So we want to continue to support that segment of the game's population. Launching New Legacy in Japan is a big part of that.
I think that's so good that there is this commitment to a very important player demographic that allows Broadsword to continue to do the good work you do to sustain and grow Ultima Online. And I think that there's anyone who may have not expressed an enlightened opinion about the effort that's gone into this, they just don't see that it really helps bring up the entirety of the player community, whether you're playing on the Japanese shards or on the North American or European or Oceanic shards, for Broadsword to help to acknowledge that section of the UO player base, to serve it and grow it. So I'm actually very excited that you guys are now paying more attention to your great Japanese players and Japanese shards by setting up a Japanese version of New Legacy. I'm sure it's a big lift, right? Because you also have to translate everything, and it's not a simple, just flip of the switch to create a Japanese version of the shard.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been localizing all of our in-game text into Japanese for a very long time, but the thing with Japanese is that it is it's a contextual language, so you can't just, if you're a Japanese speaker, you have to immerse yourself in how the Ultima Online text has been translated into Japanese. So it is a big lift from a localization perspective. And it's a different culture, right? So we have to connect with that culture in a way that is going to make the most sense. So for us, that meant, I should probably not stand in the fire field here, but for us, that meant introducing some new characters, Ryoko and Feneko. I think people who kind of aren't in that realm, as it were a little concerned that somehow we were redefining the iconic Hildebrands and stuff like that, which we're not doing. Definitely not. But it's a way to blend the elements of what UO style and characters have been, in this case a dragon, with how the Japanese culture consumes media. VTubers and PNG tubers are a huge part of how they talk about Ultima Online. One of the best Japanese UO tutorials is a PNG tuber introduction of UO. It's fantastic, and that's huge for us. So we want to make sure that we support that and continue to provide all the opportunities that we can for those players to get back into the game if they've stopped playing for a little while, and to welcome new Japanese players as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's it was exciting for me to see, especially for what it means for the game in general. If there is a strong Japanese player community, there's a strong broadsword. If there's a strong broadsword, there's a great experience of Ultima Online. So I'm very happy to see you guys sort of recommitting to your Japanese player base. And is there not, to what you're saying here, and to the possible big 30th anniversary for Ultima Online, or really whenever you as a team feel it's appropriate to, have an in-person event gathering for developers and for the player community, is there a possibility of you guys visiting Japan and meeting some of your player community out there as well?
Oh, I am chomping at the bit to go to Japan. I've wanted to visit Japan for a very long time. At the ripe age of 35, I decided to take up snowboarding, which was a terrible idea. It was a lot of falling, but it was fun. But Japan has some of the best powder in the world. They call it Japao. And I absolutely love Japanese culture. A bunch of my friends recently went there on holiday, and I was super jealous. My one friend was basically driving Mario Kart style little go-karts through the streets of Tokyo, and I was like, dude, sign me up. I think anybody who was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s has a special relationship with the Super Mario Brothers, and that is, just such a core memory of my childhood that to be able to do that, I think I'd probably cry if I did it, because it would be so amazing. But yeah, so we'll see if I can get my my ducks in order here and find a way to make that happen. I absolutely will.
We hope that you can. They're such an important part of the player community, and I hope the developers are able to go out and meet them. That'll be a very special thing. I don't think we're going to be doing the champion spawn, IV. I think we're here at the last 10 minutes of the guild adventure. So I'd actually prefer if we were to close out as we started back at the guild tower. So Ivy, if you could set up a gate there, let's go ahead and assemble as both a guild and player community. Anyone who wants to join us from our friends here, of course, like Tori here from the Mystic Circle and others from the Legacy community are welcome to join us here at the guild towers. We, have the developers for a few last minutes here before letting them go and get a well-deserved rest. And let's go up to Zeke's Rooftop Bar. I think that's where we're going to wrap up things here. It's been a really fun session. A lot of great information about Publish 2 and future plans for New Legacy. And of course, once again, very happy for our Japanese players. Now that, of course, Broadsword Online Games has always kept them in mind. Is that my Ember Wing? Deathwing it is. Let me move Deathwing out of everyone's way here. My apologies. There we go. I'll sit next to Zeke. We got everyone up here for one last drink at the bar before all going home, getting our rest for the weekend. I want to make sure that I turn over the microphone to the Knights of the Lair and our friends here for the last couple of minutes here. We got 10 minutes left. The floor is open. Anything you want to ask the developers, ideally New Legacy and Publish 2 related, but the floor is yours.
Could you please open the door?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Thank you.
That's my seat, Junior. Get out. There you go. Wow. Okay. Really? No questions. There we go. Violence in video games. Oh, I do have a comment. Oki here did say that they unlocked a special achievement for themselves by rezzing a developer. Off to you, Violence in video games.
Okay. Well, it's actually just curiosity about when the shattering takes place and characters potentially transfer over to production shard. Will there be like a quest system or anything like that to kind of explain to like new players how to adapt their characters to production rules and make their characters feel effective because a lot of the rules are different on production?
So I don't think we'll be doing anything like really robust in terms of like a rehash of the rules as they differ between New Legacy and production. Simply, we just don't have the bandwidth for it. We could do that, but it would mean neglecting a lot of the other areas of the development process that we need to touch on, primarily engineering related, with the updates that we've announced to like the classic line, things like that. So now that's not to say we're not going to do anything. We're not going to just drop you into production and be like, okay, here you go. But to what extent that looks like is going to be dependent on what our development map looks like come the time of the shattering. There's a lot of irons in the fire. Can't talk about them all right now, but we have to remain somewhat flexible at the moment, as well as making sure that we're getting all of the things that folks are looking forward to come fall time. Some of our biggest events come around that time, so we have to get started on those. As a matter of fact, our artists are currently doing some holiday related stuff right now. It's almost like Christmas in April, I guess.
That's development for you. Far ahead of the curve.
Early on. So we can remain flexible. Now, all of that being said, we do see New Legacy as kind of being the gentle onboarding ramp for new players when they get into the game. So we've had conversations and gone through brainstorming sessions on how that's going to work during the time of the shattering and what that looks like. We have a lot of those details are worked out. We still are in the active development process for finalizing those details. But we definitely look at New Legacy as kind of the new player experience. And then one of the things that we definitely want to facilitate from the production side of things is making sure that we're providing guilds with whatever resources they need to help new players to acclimate. I am a firm and strong believer that one of the greatest tools in the toolbox for player retention are guilds. That comes from both personal experience and seeing how people have kind of grown in this community over the years, right? Guilds are the backbone of that. I'm not saying that you have to be in a guild, but it definitely provides for great player retention. So anything that we can do to enhance that for guilds, by all means, let us know, because it will certainly be at the top of the wish list.
Yeah, I will be sure to convey that to. I'll do my best with Crispy here. Also Zeke, for that matter, since he and Tori and Junior originally come from Legends and they're part of a very storied guild there, the Mystic Circle. Crispy obviously from Kindred Order of Loyalty, and of course the other guild leaders that make up the New Legacy player community. That's a very important question, obviously of utility for the developers. So I'll do what I can myself to wrangle some feedback for you folks. Hopefully I get some good suggestions there. But great question, violence in video games. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got one. It kind of piggybacks on that one. After the shattering and we go to our subsequent shards, can we maybe start out with a time period of being new player status or newbie status or something to that effect, so that there's like a 30-day period where people can get used to the other aspects that they're going to encounter that they're not expecting and have some safety with it?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. We already have the existing young player status, which affords you some protections, and we can easily port that over. It'll be interesting how your character manifests themselves onto the production shards after the shattering. Like, obviously there's we have the character transfer process, right? Like, that is an existing mechanic that I'm sure most of you are all familiar with, but we definitely are going to wrap that in some fictional something, right? I don't want to see a situation where your character just plops into the world and you're like, okay, here we are. Like, we'll wrap it up in some type of a fictional basis. What that is remains to be seen. It'll be dependent on what kind of crazy stuff Nick and I and the rest of the team can come up with. To put it in perspective, when my longtime EM partner, EM Drosselmeyer, joined the Shard, the fictional basis was that I grew him from a seed that we found. So I planted the seed in the pot and he kind of spawned out of the pot. And that's how it ended up being. So who knows what it could look like, but it's definitely going to be something other than just you plopping into the world like you're respawning on a Call of Duty map or something.
I have a question for you, Chironics and Parallax. This kind of goes back to what you earlier touched upon, the vision for New Legacy being the ideal sort of first experience for an entirely new Ultima Online player. I'm curious how you are going to help sort of communicate that through what people experience off the official website, which plays such an important role drawing in both returning players and new players to the game. How do you plan to maybe revise the UI to position New Legacy in that light for an entirely new player versus the production shards?
From a website perspective, you're asking?
Yeah, because that's kind of where people usually go for the approved clients and what have you.
No, that's definitely a good point. I think that it speaks to the question. That's a great question. I think it speaks to a broader way of how people kind of consume and navigate the digital world, right? It is an ever-evolving journey, for those of us who have been here a long time. How many people here remember their old ICQ numbers? And back in the day when the idea of being able to actually voice chat while playing this game was as foreign as the game itself, and then all of a sudden there was this thing called Roger Wilco, and then there was Trello and TeamSpeak, and we could talk, and my point is that things evolve, right? So I think it's not just going to be the website. I think it's going to be, we used to use be on speakerphones. Yeah, I remember that. I think that it's going to be a multifaceted approach between the website and other media as well. We have some updates to the website planned in near term here. We have to make some required updates to it for a variety of reasons. So that'll be our opportunity to kind of see what we can do to improve the website as a resource, improve our wiki as a resource, and branch off into other areas of the digital landscape that are appropriate for us and make the most sense.
What a vast project. I can't really wrap my mind around the multiple initiatives that you're keeping track of as producer, Chironics. It has to be a real puzzle. I do want to shout out Violet here. We were talking about sourcing feedback from the New Legacy community. A credit to Violet and the other moderators of the unofficial New Legacy Discord for establishing a great environment for New Legacy players. And Violet would probably be the best person to try and source that feedback from the community that exists on the unofficial Discord. So yeah, thank you. I just thought to shout out Violet and the good work that they're doing here, and to the official wiki for Ultima Online. Big thanks to Mariah, aka Petrified, for doing a very diligent and relentless job of maintaining the official wiki for Ultima Online. She's one of our heroes, one of our UO legends for sure. We had a last question here for Parallax. Parallax, you played such an incredibly important role in the development of really exciting experiences for players, both on production and on New Legacy. And I'm very glad that the UO community is slowly coming to realize the role that you play on the Broadsword team and sort of your impact as a developer on the experience of this game for, you know, hundreds of thousands of players around the world. Can you tell us how, like, how much time is involved in creating these great events that we get to play? Because I just feel like it's a monumental task. Like, what is the runway that you need to create, publish to? Is it 2 months, 3 months? What generally was the time frame that we're looking at, and what does that work look like for you?
Well, if it was up to me, it would probably be like 3 years in the making, but Greg keeps me reined in on how long it takes me there. But
not to interrupt you, but oftentimes the best feature is done. Remember that.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's so true.
But no, it really depends on the content, how long it takes to put into the game. Like the Vesper Antiquity system took a couple weeks to fully flesh out. The Blackthorn's dungeon took month and a half, I want to say, to fully flesh that out. It really just depends on what's going into it, and it usually starts small. Usually starts with like an idea, like I want to do something. Let's revamp Blackthorn's dungeon. How are we going to revamp it? Do we just refill it with mobs? It's kind of boring. Let's sprinkle in some mini bosses. What if the mini bosses controlled spotter mob spawns? What if the mini bosses unlocked different parts of the dungeon? What if they didn't respawn? And it's stuff that's kind of elaborates from there, and it's. Yeah, the way I approach it is just like, once I start getting into it, like, what would be fun for me as a player? Would this mechanic be fun? Because ultimately, you know, we want you guys to have fun and a good experience. We don't want you to, you know, break your monitors in frustration or anything like that. But yeah, you know, I would take as much time as I could to really polish stuff out. But as Greg said, we get it to the state where it's done. It's 99% there. We could spend another 6 months getting that last 1%, but you know, the 99% is usually a very good ending point, and it's worked well so far with the other New Legacy stuff. So, yeah, short answer is that it depends on the content.
We're very grateful.
And at the same time, we have to, you know, maintain a live service all while, you know, doing this development behind the scenes, because all of a sudden Tritons are different colors, and we're like, oh no, we have to stop everything to do it. But the team is incredible. We're all super lucky to have an incredible team, and they are very accommodating and agile. I always say we're a scrappy bunch, and we are truly blessed to have our entire team behind us in everything we do.
We're really excited. We're excited for everything you guys have done, and will do with Ultima Online. I want to just, you know, this is not, you know, us saying that what came before was anything less or anything that it couldn't be for the player community. It has always been a great experience playing Ultima Online, thanks to the various versions of the developer team over at Broadsword Online Games. And, you know, certainly with New Legacy and what's happening this year. I think I'm speaking for the player community here in saying that we're incredibly grateful for what you folks are doing to bring forward Ultima Online, and we're all really excited for the adventure ahead. I know that as soon as we wrap up the stream, I'm going to step up, take a 10-minute break, and then jump right back into it. So I think that's a great way to close on out. Do we have any last questions from our friends here elsewhere on the Discord voice channel before we let Kyranix and Parallax get a much-needed rest? It can even be a farewell too, or something to what I just shared.
Pen of wisdom. Yeah.
Pen of wisdom.
Pen of wisdom. Pen of wisdom.
If I can advocate for myself, I want my Grabu back somehow. I don't know, what would be involved in getting my hands on a seasoned pork chop, but I miss my poor little black bear. Anyway, this has been a fantastic guild adventure. Parallax, Kyronix, I hope you had a great time with us. Thank you for this Let's Play of Published 2 for New Legacy. We look forward to what you guys are going to be doing for the rest of the year. And I look forward to hopefully hosting you for another Let's Play further down the road if you guys are willing to come by.
Absolutely. This was an incredibly fun night. And I'm so grateful for all of you allowing us to join in on the fun and keeping me alive most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Any last words from you, Parallax?
Same as Greg. Thank you very much for having us. It's great to experience the game in this fashion with this many people doing the content. It was a great experience. So yeah, thanks for having us.
And again, I would encourage anyone here who's listening to this and would like to have opportunities to get together with the developers. Obviously, you can do that through the lens of my channel when the developers are able to provide us their times. We were joined by several great members from the New Legacy community. But if you, once again, want to get into storytelling Ultima Online, do so. And the developers will make themselves available to help you tell the story of this great game. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call this adventure to an end. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Ruins Beyond the Treetops by Cryo Crypt. You know what that means, Layers Ends. This adventure is ending for now. I want to thank everyone who made the time for this experience. Right at the top, of course, our friends from Broadsword Online Games, Kyronix and Parallax. Very grateful for you guys making the time this evening after a long work week. Full of very exciting things for Broadsword. Published too on New Legacy, the launch of the Japanese version of New Legacy Shard. Thank you so much for coming by and giving us a couple hours of your good time at the end of a very busy week. I want to thank the Knights and Squires of the Wyvern Slayer for joining us and for experiencing this adventure together. Our friends as well from further afield on the New Legacy community. And of course, all the Layersins there in the Stygian Abyss. Opted, Damia Terra, Just Happy Trees, Queen Tiamat, William Moda, Mr. Rel Square, thank you so much for coming by. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to keep up too very closely with the Layersins in the Stygian Abyss. It was a very busy guild adventure, as you hopefully understand. Pocted, always a pleasure to have you with us on these adventures. What a fun one. Great opportunity. Thanks, Wyvern. Thank you, Pocted. Really appreciate everything that you do for the New Legacy community and the person that you are. We're fortunate to have a player like yourself with us. We got Damia Terra saying thank you. That was fun. Damia, I appreciate... Oh, I recognize that handle, Damia. I've heard a lot about you from both Tori and Zeke. Nothing but good things. And hopefully we'll have the chance to say hello at some point in the future. Thank you for joining us for the guild adventure with your friends from the Mystic Circle. And I'm glad that you are exploring the New Legacy community here with the rest of us. All right. And with that, I look forward to seeing you all at the next adventure very soon. This has been myself, Dungeon Master Wyvern, here at the Wyvern's Lair, playing the New Legacy Shard of Ultima Online. Until the next one.